Welcome back to Splice and Splatter, the film podcast presented by us, where classic horror
meets modern gore.
And we're going to ballet class today, aren't we, Al? Or, well, I guess not ballet. Yes. For those of you who are not watching the video version, Al is being, oh my gosh, what's the word? Like a music box ballerina right now.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
A haunted one.
A haunted music box ballerina. We love. It feels like a good way to start spring, honestly. We're stretching our muscles. We're
right.
Getting into some new territory.
Yeah, these again, we've talked about these for like years at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys haven't read the description, again, as always, we're covering I'm doing Black Swan
from 2010, and I'm doing the Luca Guadagnino remake of Suspiria from 2018.
Yes.
And for those of you who have not heard the episode on the original Dario Argento Suspiria, we're going to reference it a lot. I'm not going to go into the history of that one because Al did a great job covering it on my 2024 All Argento All the Time birthday special.
That was your birthday
It
special.
was. I realized it's also our most popular of all time on YouTube. So I hope that y'all Suspiria fans are going to enjoy this one as well. Or hate this one, which would be very on brand for how everybody felt about the remake. So,
oh my god, I can't wait to talk about it. Before we get into that, any housekeeping? I have one housekeeping thing.
Housekeep for us, Al. Keep away.
The one, and I realized Trav's gonna have to end. We said we weren't gonna work him today, and here we are, minutes in.
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat. We got nominated for a second year in a row for New Mexico Entertainment Awards. Not only just our podcast, but us as hosts, I realized too, which I don't think either of us noticed.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, we as hosts, as so Siena and Al, are nominated as well. So
really cool.
So it's kind of a pain. We're gonna have it in our link tree, in all of our socials, and all of our bios. It is kind of a pain to like scroll through. You don't have to look and select everybody. But we are buried in there, and if you guys can vote for us, that would be awesome. It means a lot. It's pretty cool. And they're a really cool group of people, and they've been big supporters of us, and they're awesome. So anyways, that's my only housekeeping. I wanted to shout it out now.
No, thank you
in
so
case
much
somebody
for
makes it to
doing
the end.
that. I also I did not realize that we were nominated as hosts, and I'm like really touched by that. And like it's as you said when you posted it, like it means more this year in some ways because it is just ours now. Like we're not doing this as our jobs. We're doing this because we love you.
We love you, and we love horror. We love our horror community.
We are horror whores. So if you want to share some of that love back at us, please do vote. It really that was one of the first awards I think either of us had won for just period, which is very meaningful, and
that was cool in and of itself. So
and if we win, it might be a reason for us to bring Al back on a trip to New Mexico.
Yeah, I could take the train.
Yeah, I
could do a nice little haunted road trip to you. So it would be fun.
So for you New Mexican listeners, if you want a chance to see Al in person, that's maybe the way to make it happen.
Bring me out there.
Yeah.
Bring me out there. Trav gave us the website. It is, again, it's our link in our bio, but it's newmexicoentertains.com/NME awards. So again, thank you guys for if you log on there to do that, because sometimes it's a pain in the ass, and I get it.
And we love all of you who do it despite the pain in the assery. We love all of you regardless, but it
we'll love you more if no, I'm just kidding.
Yes, exactly. You get extra brownie points. Or are we?
So that's my only housekeeping. So thanks for letting me blab. It was just kind of a fun little thing for us. So
good.
Yeah, but back into the ballet class.
Back into ballet. Back into the plies. What did you think of the remake of Suspiria, Al?
Okay, so you can, again, I had just watched the original Suspiria for the first time for your birthday episode, and then
we both watched a whole lot more Argento for the podcast. We watched Phenomena and, oh my gosh, what is the one that we covered with another gay horror pod?
Red.
We did Deep Red.
That one. Deep Red.
Oh
Oh
my
my gosh, what was
gosh.
that one?
It's
Because
like
it was so
right on the tip of my tongue. And it was
cunty.
amazing. We loved it. We both were
Oh
like,
my
that
god, I'm
might be my
totally
favorite
blanking.
Argento. And now I'm forgetting the name. Uh,
Me too,
I feel like
shoot,
it
but
starts
yeah.
with an I. Travis, see if you can find it for us.
It's again, it's Friday, we're hanging.
It is.
But yeah, a lot of Argento all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of like set me up to be excited for this because I feel like there hasn't been a movie that you've recommended that I've been like, that was awful. I feel
Oh,
like
I'm so
maybe
glad.
one over the years, but like I trust you and I trust your judgment, and you know me at this point so well to
Is
know if I'm gonna like something or not.
is this the one
Um
where I ruined it?
no, it is
Okay, thank God.
not. I was immediately gagged with the 6 minute, like that
Oh, I
whole dialogue.
know.
And it was like,
It's
kudos to the editor as well.
Tenebrae. Tenebrae. Yes. Thank you, Travis. I don't know why I thought it started with an I.
Tenebrae. That's the Argento one we
That's it.
were
Yeah.
blanking on. Thank you.
Really
Trev somehow
good.
pulled that out of obscurity.
Really impressed with
You just really
that.
got that. But yeah, it was wildly different.
It's so different. Yeah.
I didn't realize though, little sneak. We've heard as of
Mhm.
late my disdain or just neutral opinion, I guess, on Dakota Johnson. I didn't realize she was in this.
This is the only role that I've just like flat out loved her in.
Me too, because the whole
Yeah.
movie is amazing. So loved it. I mean, I absolutely gagged over it. I laughed because I was like, "Is that no bang Dakota Johnson? Is
It
that no bang?" She
is.
looks wildly different without
It's
bangs.
very weird. Also, she
The
has
wig
like,
was horrible,
oh, I know that like fake
but
red. It's
oh, it's so bad. And they really could
atrocious.
have like moved her hairline around. I don't know
Yeah.
why they were looking like her wig was falling off the back of her head, but
All the time. Yeah.
yeah, I was hooked and like edge of my seat for the
Yes.
entire movie. It
Oh,
was so, I mean, Tilda Swinton, oh
I
my god.
know. Did you catch the 3 roles too?
3 roles.
Tilda
Oh my
Swinton
god,
plays
no.
3 characters in this
What?
movie.
I
Yes!
clearly did
Oh
not
my
by
god,
that.
I
I'm like
love
trying to think and
this.
I'm like, I swear I was paying attention because
It's
I didn't look
very
away.
both the other roles
Oh.
are hidden under a lot of makeup. So
Was she
it's
the old lady at the end?
that's one of them.
Ah, I
That's
have
one
no
of
idea who the
them.
other one is. I'm trying to think
Oh
of
my
other
god, I
makeup. No
love this.
way.
I'm
Okay,
so
you can
excited that I get to reveal this to
yeah, you
you.
can reveal the other one. Yeah, I feel like if anyone like hates I don't feel like you can pin these movies against each other. The concept is the same, but they're wildly
Mhm.
different
Yeah,
films. They're shot wildly different. I feel like the
totally.
approach, I don't know. I mean, it felt like cinema,
Yes!
if
Oh
that
my god,
makes
I
sense.
love this. I'm so relieved because it's like it is a hard sell for people who love the original Suspiria, and it was a hard sell for me. Like, I went into it when I first watched it expecting to rip it to shreds.
Oh,
Um,
sure. Yeah.
'Cause, like, that's, like, that's, like, one of my favorite movies of all time. It's on our
Yeah.
letterbox listed as one of our top 4 faves for my picks.
Yeah.
Um, but I really I genuinely don't know which of the 2 I like better. They are on, like, completely
Sure.
equal footing for me because they are doing such different things.
Mhm.
Like, it's the
Mhm.
same basic premise, and then it goes completely off 2 different sets of rails.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, there was so much to it, like the older women too, and getting like the scenes.
Mhm.
Some of them were like, I mean, like I was like doubled over laughing at the one with the short blonde hair. Like
Oh my god, I
every
know.
she stole every scene that she was in at any moment, and I just was like, I just want to like hang out with
I
these
know! I want
fucking
I
women.
I'm much more interested in being a member of this coven than the one in the original. I will say that.
Yes,
Like, these ones
yes,
look like
they're
they're having a
having
lot more fun.
yeah, they go out to like dinners. They
I
make fun of
know!
men. Like it's
Yes!
great.
They, like, enchant men and then, like, poke at their penises and laugh at it.
Pretend
Like,
to like
what are they
almost cut it
doing?
off. It's
Yeah.
great.
It's great!
No,
Living the
hard same.
dream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
truly. Is that our future, Sienna? Is that
Yes,
where
it
we're I
is, in
think we're headed
fact.
that way.
Yeah. Okay, which witch are you out of the
I'm
Suspiria
the little
witches?
I want to be the blonde one with her like cunty little
Yeah.
bob because she was just so funny to me.
She's so
Yeah,
good.
these are wildly different approaches, and I would say if anyone is
Mhm.
on the fence and like doesn't want to listen because they don't want anything spoiled, please go watch it because
Yeah.
you
And
can't pit them, and I think people are doing themselves. They're really missing out.
I do think that this is one like I try as much as I can to be very like upfront with y'all about when I think a horror movie needs to be spoiler free and when it's okay to know stuff going in. And I really think this is one where the less you know, the better. So like if you have not seen the Suspiria remake, go watch it before listening and come back.
Yes.
Particularly because there are going to be some surprise reveals like Tilda Swinton's 3 characters.
That's wild.
Yeah. So shall we jump on in?
Yes, I've been actually just
Oh my God.
the second I finished it and the credits were rolling, I was like, I can't. I think one of the first things out of my mouth is I can't wait to hear what
Oh my
Siena
God,
like
yes.
tells me.
Did you see the post-credit sequence? Because I only caught it the
Yes.
second time. I did not see it the first time I watched the
I
movie.
hang on until that
Smarty.
screen goes and annoys me and goes to the main screen and starts playing the trailer again. So
smart.
yes.
Smart. Yeah. Oh, it's such a wonderful little button. Like it opens so many new doors without feeling like it's being too cute about it, which sometimes gets on my nerves in a post-credit sequence. Like it's very just to the point. Okay, so the first thing that I need to say about this is that I'm not kidding you, the 2018 remake of Suspiria had more research materials than any other film I have ever covered on the podcast.
Really?
Which I was not expecting. I was expecting there to be a decent amount because, like, it's an Amazon movie, it's pretty recent, it's a famous director. But I was not expecting, for, like, perspective. Usually when we cover a film, and I've said before, a lot of the time what I'll do is, like, I'll go to a film's Wikipedia page and go to its primary sources and then read the primary sources. Usually a typical film we cover on the podcast will have between, like, 10 and 30 primary sources.
Right.
This had over 130.
Oh my God. I thought I had a lot with Black Swan. My God.
I was like disgusted. Like it was such an embarrassment of riches.
2018. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That never happens with recent movies. Usually like real like classics.
Right. But like even like thinking back to like The Shining had a ton, and that was at like maybe like 50 or 60. Like, and I felt like I was drowning and stuff. This is
you were like, where do I go? Anywhere I dream.
Yeah, like there were so many places that I usually check that I just did not have time because like I had to cut out some of the sections that I would usually include or cut them down just because I was like, there's not going to be room for all of this other good stuff if I do. So if you hear like I'm only going to list a couple of the actors as an example because we have so much to get into in production that I was like, we've got to trim where we can.
Yeah. I had the same. I mean, I didn't have that many sources, but Black Swan was like an endless pit of choose your own adventure, and I just chose my own adventure. So yeah, there's so much about this movie, and again, for these being, I mean, 2010 was not recent. In my heart, it was,
but it feels recent still.
It's one of the more
just
recent
a mere
ones
16 years. Yeah.
Ew.
Why did I have to say that?
Wow. Oh, I can't wait to hear like what. Let's go.
Yes.
What do ballet dancers say?
Let's
go.
There you go. Let's go. Yeah, let's go, lady brothers.
Can you tell I did ballet for 1 year and they were like, that's enough.
Yep, same. Big time same.
Go to tap.
Okay, so Suspiria 2018. We always must start with taglines, and this one has, right along with sources, way too many of them. Too many taglines. It has 9 unique taglines, plus some variations thereof. So we have the good, the vague, and the fucking bizarre. Let's start with the good.
I thought that was the tagline.
Oh my God, imagine. Honestly, it kind of fits the film in a lot of ways. Okay, so the good taglines we have: let mother take care of you.
You know, we love that one.
I mean, like, I was thinking this is, as much as this is like a ballet pairing, it is also a mommy issues the movies pairing.
Oh yeah.
So, give your soul to the dance. Perfection commands sacrifice. And the beauty hides the blood, which I love an alliterative tagline. The vague, which like all of these are just like, this could be for any movie, any horror movie. What are you doing? Pain cleanses all. Listen to the whispers, or for the whispers. This one really confuses me. Darkness binds the gifted. What?
Did they go on like thesaurus.com? They were like,
I
what
think
word
so.
can I
Yeah.
use?
If this were made today, I would say these were ChatGPT taglines, but we didn't have that back then.
Right.
Thank God, the good old days. And then there's also obey the ritual. And then the weirdest of all, I really need you to appreciate the punctuation of this one. So this is one where we have to read those punctuation marks aloud. So we have
Oh no.
Can I even do this with a straight face?
Nope.
Nope, no I can't. Tremble, tremble! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. The witches are back! Dot, dot, dot.
Tremble, tremble.
Tremble, tremble!
I hate that.
Tremble, tremble! 3 exclamation marks.
Tremble, tremble. Were they trying to do like an old school like movie poster where it would say like actions?
God.
That's so weird for this.
Yeah, that might be the most nonsensical tagline that I've gotten so far.
That's going to be as if we need more merch.
I know. Tremble,
Shut
tremble.
it down, everybody. Tremble, tremble.
Nobody knows what it means, but it's something. This is directed by Luca Guadagnino, and it is actually his immediate follow-up to the peach-filled Call Me By Your Name. That one came out in 2017. This one came out in 2018, so they were like back to back. He'd previously made his first feature was called The Protagonists back in 1999, which also starred Tilda Swinton, and we're going to talk about that briefly when we talk about Tilda. He made I Am Love and A Bigger Splash, and those two, I Am Love, A Bigger Splash, and Call Me By Your Name, are considered his Desire trilogy, but he himself has said that you could count Suspiria as part of that, which I think there's like a really good case to be made. After that, he goes on to make Bones and All, Challengers, Queer, and After the Hunt, which I think I was one of like 3 people in the world who liked. Everybody hated After the Hunt, but I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, I gotta watch the rest. I didn't realize like those were all him.
And they're all very different.
They're on my list.
Yeah. The one that's most similar to this is probably Bones and All, but I think this is a much stronger movie. And I also did not know until researching this episode, and I think it is important context for Guadagnino and for his work in this one in particular, that while he's obviously like a very Italian man, his mom is actually Algerian, and he grew up his first 5 years in Ethiopia, which like particularly because this film is so interested in the political climate in Europe at a particular moment in time, I think it's really helpful to know that he grew up as a mixed kid in Europe, and that is a complicated thing to be.
Wow, interesting.
And also, Mini Tid, he was shown Psycho by his mom at age 9, just like
me. God,
me.
you're like, hey!
I saw that and I was like, twins, yeah.
That's so funny.
He also wrote his college thesis on Jonathan Demme, director of Silence of the Lambs, which I thought was cool. So interesting Guadagnino background.
Yeah.
Screenplay is by David Kajanek, who also wrote and produced A Bigger Splash and Bones and All for Luca to direct, and then also wrote The Invasion, Blood Creek, True Story, and The Terror. So I don't know much about those, but judging from the titles, it seems like they've got some horror-adjacent stuff going on.
For sure.
Of course, though, it is based on the screenplay by Dario Argento and Daria Nicolodi, Dario and Daria, which in turn is based upon Suspiria de Profundis by Thomas de Quincey. And if you want to hear more about that, go listen to the episode covering that, where Al walks you through all of that beautifully. Yes. Meanwhile, cast selected. We have Dakota Johnson as Susie Banyan / Mother Suspiriorum, and I wrote probably the only performance where I've ever liked her.
Same.
It also took me until writing these notes to realize that the name Susie Banyan sounds so much like Suspiriorum. Like there's like a joke hidden in her name almost.
Sure.
She's also in The Social Network, which I'd forgotten, Materialist, Splitsville, Daddy-O, The Lost Daughter, Cha-Cha Real Smooth, Bad Times at the El Royale, A Bigger Splash, 21 Jump Street, How to Be Single, and of course, the 50 Shades movies. And this was her first film after finishing up the 50 Shades movies.
I thought. Yeah, it was giving that.
Yeah, it's very much that, like, I just got out of actor prison and I've got to break free in the biggest way possible.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, she is Tippi Hedren's granddaughter from The Birds, too. Then we have Tilda Swinton, who Al wrote as Tulsa Swinton when we were texting about this movie.
Ew, yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Had to call that out.
I was like, Tilda! No,
pulling
Tesla!
Tulsa!
Tulsa.
So she's pulling triple duty here. I'm actually going to hold off on naming her characters for now, though, because we will get to that later. She's also in Caravaggio, Female Perversions. She narrates Derek Jarman's Blue. She did the protagonist with Luca. She's Orlando in Orlando. She's Rebecca in Vanilla Sky, Valerie in Adaptation, the White Witch in Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which I think was the first thing I saw her in. She's in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Michael Clayton, We Need to Talk About Kevin, Only Lovers Left Alive, which we gotta cover, Snowpiercer, Okja. She's in The Avengers. She is the voice of Death and the Wood Sprite in Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. She's everything. She's in everything, and she is everything.
And she's eats in every goddamn role. Like, it's just such a delight to see her pop up in films.
Really is. Even when you can't tell she's there.
Even when you can't tell.
And wanted to note here, oh wait, no, I can't note that because that would reveal her character name.
We can't do that yet. I want
Can't
the
do that.
suspense to build.
Oh, yes, we've got to hold on to that. Moving on, we have Mia Goth, our goth queen as Sarah Sims. And this was back in the early days of Mia Goth, before most of her like breakout performances. So at this point, she was mainly known for her work in Nymphomaniac Part 2. She goes on to be obviously Maxine and Pearl in Ty West's trilogy, Gabby in Infinity Pool, Elizabeth and Claire Frankenstein in GDT's Frankenstein, Harriet and Emma, Hannah and A Cure for Wellness. So lots of stuff. She's a scream queen. We love her. She will, I'm sure, make many more appearances on this pod. Already has made 2.
I love her.
We have Chloe Grace Moretz as Patrizia, starting our narrative off. She's Carrie in the Carrie remake. Abby in Let Me In was shot in Los Alamos. Chelsea in the 2005 Amityville horror remake. So truly a scream queen from her earliest days, because that's one of her very first credits. She's in 500 Days of Summer, which I'd forgotten about. She's in Kick-Ass. She's in Hugo. She's Cameron in The Miseducation of Cameron Post. And my personal favorite, she's Jack Donaghy's arch nemesis, Kaylee, in 30 Rock. It's great.
You're like, God, 30 Rock really pops up so much on
Listen,
this. I feel like
I've probably watched through the entirety of 30 Rock over a dozen times at this point, which is a bad sign for me. But it just gets embedded deeper and deeper in my psyche every go round. We have Angela Winkler as Miss Tanner. She's in Michael Haneke's Benny's Video. She's also in Clouds of Sils Maria, The Tin Drum, and The Lost Honor of Katharina Blum. We have Alec Weck as Miss Milius. She's mainly known as a model, but has also appeared in some pretty iconic music videos. So you can see her in Tina Turner's video for Goldeneye, Janet Jackson's Forgot Till It's Gone, and Doja Cat's for Gorgeous. So like across decades.
Just icons.
She's killing it. And we get a Jessica Harper cameo, who's Susie Bannion from the original Suspiria. She comes back here and she plays Anka, who is the long-lost wife of Joseph Kemperer, our old man.
Fucking way. That's so cute.
Isn't that adorable? And we're going to get to a really cute story about like all the things she had to do to prepare for this role and the lies she had to tell for it.
Oh my
It's
God,
very cute. She's also, in addition to OG Suspiria, in Minority Report, Phantom of the Paradise, Shock Treatment, Stardust Memories, Safe, Bones and All. So she works again with Luca, Night Bitch, and most recently she's Ethel Kennedy on the series Love Story about the Kennedys, that new Ryan Murphy thing.
Yeah.
I think it's Ryan Murphy. I don't watch a lot of TV, but sorry. Listen, I just rewatched 30 Rock.
What's the other one? What's the other one you always reference?
Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, Always Sunny. Yeah. You're like,
that's basically it. That's it. I truly don't watch like drama TV. If I'm watching something, it's a sitcom
hard
from like
to
10
get
years
into
ago.
Sometimes. There's so much.
I watch such dark movies that I'm like, I save that for those. It's also, this film is dedicated to the memory of a couple people, most prominently Jonathan Demme, director of Silence of the Lambs, which I thought was very sweet. I wanted to shout that out because obviously who he wrote his thesis on, and we just covered his work. Yeah. And as I think you can probably tell from watching this movie, despite the fact that it is so different from the original Suspiria, Guadagnino is like the biggest Suspiria fanboy. He loves the original with every bone in his body, to the degree that he grew up like drawing versions of its poster in high school on his notebooks. Like,
oh my gosh,
he's
amazing.
obsessed with it. He like saw a poster for it hanging on a wall when he was 10 or 11 years old, saw the film when he was 13 or 14, and it just like embedded in his psyche. And I brought in a great quote from him about it. He says, "I think the movie I made, in a way, represents some of the layers of my upbringing, watching the movie for the first time and thinking of it and being obsessed by it. So it is the result of many, many strata of fantasies, fascinations, and reflections. I like to think that it's my most personal movie because of the way that everything started with it," which is really sweet, particularly because a lot of people thought that Call Me By Your Name was kind of autobiographical for him, and he's like, no. The one that's like about me is Suspiria, which I love.
So funny. Which really says everything.
It really does. It tells you a whole lot. And he and Dario are actually friends, which is super cute. And he said that when he started the project, Dario said that, quote, "You don't need any blessing, you just need to go and do your movie." And
what a nice thing to hear.
I know, it's very sweet. He doesn't want to openly say what Dario's reaction is because he didn't feel like it was his to share, but he kind of hints that it was positive. We'll come back to that when we get to our reaction section. But thing is, though, in a classic could have been story, this remake was not supposed to be Luca's to direct. He was attached to produce it because he was the one who got the rights to remake it, but he was going to produce it for David Gordon Green of Halloween to direct.
Really interesting.
It was announced way back in 2008, so 10 years before the movie got made. And before David Gordon Green had made his Halloween reboot, which actually came out around the same time as Suspiria.
Right.
So it's like the layers of this are just many strata, as he would say. So Luca had gotten the rights, offered them to Green to work on it. Green co-wrote a version with his sound designer. It was supposed to star Isabelle Huppert, the French actress who I love. He was trying at the time to leverage the success of Pineapple Express into a big enough budget.
Sure, as one
Naturally.
does.
Of course you take Pineapple Express and say, now you trust me to remake Suspiria, right?
Take it straight to the Ballet Academy.
Shockingly, that didn't work. Nobody was biting. So instead he goes on to make the movie Your Highness and is expecting to use the money from that to make Suspiria, and then that movie tanks.
Yeah.
Thus, David Gordon Green's Suspiria bites the dust. And it's all down to Pineapple Express.
Oh my God, I haven't heard. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Years, yeah.
I'm shocked that he, not to get into it too much, but I'm shocked that he wanted to, being such a fanboy, wanted to hand it off to somebody else. Maybe he was like too afraid to do it. He's like, no, I love it too much.
I know. Well, like in 2008, his career was not like what it is in 2018. But put a pin in that because it's also. Sure. We'll get more to that later.
Okay, cool.
Thing is, though, screenwriter Kajanik does not like the original Suspiria, which is fascinating.
Rude.
And I think, like, I know, it's so rude. And so I think, like, if you feel any sense of, like, pushing away from the original, that's coming much more from him than it is from Luca. And so, like, how did he square this with deciding to take on adapting this? I have a quote from him. He says, "Horror often loses me when it starts to no longer regard real people in a real world." And so I said to Luca when he asked me if I would ever be interested in joining him in this, I did say, I will take quite a practical approach if you're okay with that. I would want to know how something like this could happen, how it would work, what the hierarchy of the coven would be. You know, all those practical questions that normally aren't maybe of interest to a typical horror film, whatever that is. And he was all for it. And so I did quite a lot of research into actual witchcraft and covens and into the period it's set in, what was going on in feminist politics, feminist art then, and how those concerns were being exploited from the inside out and how that might look inside the context of the occult. Which I'm like, rude that you don't like the original, but that is a really interesting take.
That's what makes it feel so like
so different.
Hefty.
Yeah.
And like it has weight to it because he did all that. I mean, god damn, when they do shit like that pisses me off that I'm like, you genius, you.
I know. Like, how dare you.
Beautiful, dumb genius.
You beautiful, dumb genius, David Kajanik. And he was also, writer David, was the one who pitched the idea of dance as a spell, of the coven using dance to spell cast, because he said it's such a practical explanation for why a coven would be hiding at a dance school. And I'm like, I love the way his brain works, that he's thinking about like how to find the practical in this extremely non-practical scenario. Like that's so much of the charm of the original is it's like, yeah, it's witches in a ballet school. Who cares? It's gorgeous. That's not the point.
The building doesn't make sense, but we don't care.
If you're thinking about that, you're thinking about the wrong things. And here he's like, I want you thinking about everything.
Oh my God. I don't know if you're going to talk about it, but that that dance sequence, actually, Siena, are we going to talk about it?
Oh, we're going to talk so much about it. But I want to hear what you're going to say.
Do you, or should we wait? We'll wait.
We do have a whole section on dance, so as I'm sure you do as well. So we will get there. There's so much to talk about there. But first, themes, approach, and history. A beefy section for this film. So many themes. Motherhood, obviously a very big one. Lucas says, quote, "In a way, Suspiria is about how you behave in the relationship between mother and daughter, and what happens when that balance of power is swapped," which I thought was really fascinating, because that is very much what happens at the end of the movie, is like the daughter and mother have switched roles. Witches and women's power, which are clearly very intertwined in this film. And Luca talks a lot about this in interviews, and very eloquently. He says, quote, nice. "I think a coven of witches comes with the concept of solidarity. If we take the historical sense of the term witchcraft from the Inquisition until the Enlightenment, it was about a scandal of the bond between women at a moment in time when society couldn't accept that. So historically, witchcraft came with the idea of coming back to the power of women, the power of the woman as a goddess, and it has been perverted by the official history and the official religions as making a bargain with the devil. The witchcraft that I'm interested in also has a lot to do with what psychoanalytically is called the concept of the terrible mother, which you also see a lot in some religions, particularly in the Kali goddess. But I'm like, yes, the terrible mother, a big theme in both our films.
Yeah.
Although I feel like yours, like, I would honestly rather have Mother Suspiriorum as my mother than the mother from Black Swan.
Yeah, the mom in my film really freaks me out.
Yeah, I was triggered by her. I was like, oh, this is sending me back in therapy. I've got to talk to Kathleen about this. We'll get there. Color and the German autumn, by which I do not mean just a season in Germany, but we're about to get into it. So the cold color scheme that this movie has, which is like the most obvious distinction between it and the original Suspiria, it's also something I was chatting with my DP about this movie last night, because we were just like on a call and I mentioned that I was researching it, and she was like, I have so much to say,
awesome.
Which I loved, and she immediately was like, it is cold in this, like, the color of the film mimics the Cold War. Like, the color is cold because the war is cold. And I was like, God damn it, Rebecca, you're so smart. And it wasn't a choice that they made to be the opposite of Argento. Instead, it was, as Lucas says, quote, "I think everything that could have been done through Argento's style has been said." And so he wants to do something. He's like, I respect that too much.
Yeah.
Like, sure. I can't win the Argento game against Argento, so I'm not gonna try.
Yeah.
So smart. And so the colors that they do choose were designed instead to evoke the time period and political setting, which is called the German Autumn. Have you heard of this before? I was not familiar with this term going into this.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like vaguely familiar, but I don't know if that's just in context with films that kind of take place around this time.
Yeah. So it's apparently German Autumn is September to October of 1977, which the year this movie takes place is also the year that the original Suspiria was released. So that's another little nod there. Nice. And it's when the Lufthansa hijacking, the Schleiler kidnapping, and the RAF attacks are all happening at once. So there's like a whole lot of like radical Marxist terrorism going on in Germany all at one time. And Berlin is kind of right in the middle of all of it, particularly because obviously Berlin Wall is still up. We see a whole lot of it in this film. And as Luca puts it, quote, we started to see the pictures of the time, and in particular, the cinematographer Michael Ballhaus in the films of Rainer Fassbinder. And we started thinking how a great painter like Baltos creates such uncanny eeriness and fear in his amazing paintings. That led me, my production designer, my costume designer, and the director of photography to go for browns and blacks and blues and greens, all muted and juxtaposed, so that we could, in a way, encompass this idea of a German autumn. That's why the colors are not primary. They do not pop at you. I hope that they infiltrate you and they go deep into you.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, they're
good.
very, I was gonna say he says muted, but they're almost like these jewel tones and
They
everything's
are,
like,
yeah.
is there like any sun in the
No,
movie?
there's like a
Yeah, it's
rainstorm
just
the entire
gloom.
film. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's
Um,
something is you like you like it seeps into, I also watched it like in the evening. It feels like it like
mhm.
seeps into your space. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
beautifully. I love that, especially with the script dealing in realism and having like this grounded approach
Mhm.
for them to do Argento, which that's when I could understand people being pissy about this
Oh, they
remake
were.
if they do that, but they shouldn't because that's not even,
Mhm.
they did not go for that. And if you want that, watch the original.
Exactly. And like he's right. Nobody's gonna out Argento. You're not gonna make a
No,
better version of that.
no.
So make a different one.
Exactly.
Um, So, violence and female rage.
Yes.
Big for both of our films. And the term female rage is actually something that Luca like reacts to in the press. Like he brings it up of his own accord. So
Love
he's
that.
definitely like I get the sense that Luca Guadagnino is a very like social media aware director. That like
Ooh,
he's
ooh.
looking at what the kids are doing on like
Yeah, yeah,
Instagram these days. And I feel
yeah,
like
for
he was like
sure.
very aware of the like 2017, 2018 like rise in people wanting movies about like horror movies
Mm.
with female rage. Like that was and is such a thing. But anyway, so this film like has a really interesting and like pretty complicated relationship to violence. Guadagnino reflects back on the original and says, quote, "I'd never been influenced by the violence of Argento as much as I was influenced by his freedom. The form of his film is what impressed me. The use of deep red, the use of details, the way that he builds every murder almost like a ballet, and it
Mhm.
gave me courage. Dario gave me boldness," which is so cute. Dario
That's
gave
really
me
sweet.
boldness.
His like parasocial, I believe
I
his
know,
relationship with him, but like I'm
but
sure
like
to
it's
a
pretty
point parasocial.
parasocial.
He's like, he's been
um,
speaking to me since I was a kid.
yeah, through the poster.
Through
He
the
whispers to
poster.
me every night. But he also adds, quote, "I don't think female rage is exactly what I was looking for." See, like he brings it up on his own. It's more of a female community, and like any community, you have displays of power, and every relationship of power can bring with it cruelty. I'm aware that we are often numb to violence, and more often women are the subject of violence. Suspiria is more about human nature than the spectacle of violence. Which, like,
Oh, yeah.
it's a pretty interesting take.
Yeah, I like him. He's a
Mhm.
good one. He can keep making films. I'm
I
okay
agree.
with that.
I agree. This man can stay.
Yeah.
um, and Tilda also has a great quote on kind of like the movie's relationship to violence, where she says, quote, "The Berlin of that time was expressly involved in the aftershocks of traumatic existential upheaval. Those fascists, they certainly leave a trail of destruction, and they surely get those witches going, for better or for worse.
Oh
I
my God, I love
suggest,"
her.
she goes even further. She says, "I suggest we think carefully about what forces gave rise to the political landscape in Germany in 1977 and the reactive initiatives they inspired. Maybe we should look back and learn."
Oh
I
my
love that
God.
she's like I can't quite tell what exactly she's saying to look back and learn from, but you can almost read it as her being like, maybe we need more witch covens.
Right?
Like,
Who was
which
it? Who hates the system? Men. Who was it built
exactly.
by?
Men.
She's like gentle parenting in
I
her interview
know.
answers.
Yes, truly.
To the men specifically. It's
That's
amazing.
such a good description. And I think this is the last theme that I wanted to bring up, which is melancholy horror. And that's something that like I bring up a lot on the podcast because we
Mm.
know I love a sad horror film,
Yep,
but that's
yep.
something that was really really important in how they were approaching this remake, and especially in the Black Sabbath sequence at the very end. They're like the big red climactic scene.
Yeah.
Which I also totally forgot presages the, like, chest video moment, and I saw the TV glow. Like, I feel
Yes,
like that probably, as
yes.
much as it's a shout out to Videodrome, probably was also a shout out to Suspiria. But anyway, Lucas says, quote, "Halfway through editing the sequence, I said to Tom York and to Walter Fasano, my editor, that we had to instill a moment of deep melancholy, because when you
Mm.
become, you are evolving into a new person and you're mourning the end. It's the death of the previous version of yourself, which is what happens in the movie. We wanted to create a bridge between this fierce horror and this very melancholic sadness." I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
I love
oh,
that. Because yeah, there is yeah, it's not like a claiming of power for power's sake at
right.
the end. And there is like a lot of sadness in her as she walks
Mhm.
around and like looks at everyone. So
And the music is so
I love
haunting and
that.
so like just like knife to chest.
Mhm.
Um
Mhm.
which like I also feel like in film and in art in general, I think we tend to think of rebirth as like one of the more positive artistic concepts that you
Mhm.
can bring up. And I really like that he's like, no, it's rough
Sad.
as
Yeah.
shit and sad and bloody. And I'm like, that's one of
Yeah.
those instances where it's like, it really feels like this film is made by a woman, even though it's not, because it really feels like there's like this like awareness of this like metaphorical childbirth almost.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you said that because it does feel like the way I feel like he's not seen I don't know how to perfectly express this, so bear with me, everyone. He I feel like sometimes we get like when we talk about male directors
Mm-hmm.
with very like female focused or point of view films,
Mm-hmm.
it very much feels like a man like looking at and assuming
Mm-hmm.
versus like embodying a
Yeah,
little bit and like
being.
almost in like I feel like he approached it, and again, maybe this isn't a great word, but like in an envious way, but I don't mean that negatively. Like
Yeah.
oh my God, look at all this beauty that lies within there. I wish
Yeah.
I had that. But like
Yeah.
doing it from a point of view that's not, I feel like like envy in the highest of forms versus
Yeah, as opposed to, like, desire,
I
like,
want to
it's
tear it down because I'm
mhm.
jealous of this thing.
Exactly, and I
So
think
yeah.
it very much feels like a film made by a gay man, which he is, obviously.
Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah.
gay.
He's like,
Very
I want to
gay.
be part of the coven. He's part of the
Yes!
coven. Let's
He
just be
is
honest. He's part of it. So
absolutely
that's
part of the
why.
coven. Luca Guadagnino is Mother Suspiria, like, he is Mother.
He is
Um,
mother.
okay, at this point, I'm going to ask you to pull out your photos, and for those of you who are listening to the audio, we will have, links to these so that you can see them as well if you're listening on YouTube, because I now want to give you a quick breakdown, since we
Spooky.
talked about, the fact that Luca was very intensely influenced by feminist art at the time. I'm going to give a breakdown of a couple of the really key feminist 70s artists that he like visually references in his work.
Cool. Yeah.
So, first side by side you've got there. You can scroll through one photo and then the next. These are
Oh
the artist
yeah.
Pina Bausch. This is I'm showing you the dream sequence from Suspiria. Especially in those dream sequences, you see a lot of Pina imagery where she's like floating up the wall.
Yeah.
Pina's photo doing the same
Ugh.
thing. If you
Freaky.
flip to the next one where you've got tied hands on a table. This
Hmm.
is Suspiria and Ana Mendieta, who or Mendieta, apologies, who we're gonna come back to her later, put a pin in Ana Mendieta. The second photo you've got after that, where it's these two
Ooh.
like red body outlines on white sheets, is also Ana Mendieta. So you can really see
Very
there's some like
cool. Wow.
direct visual quotation going on there. Then after this, you've got two faces with bugs crawling on them. This is a shot from Suspiria next to a shot from Gina Payne.
Ugh.
I know, gross. And then finally, your last image, before I'm going to have you put down your phone because we've got one more after that that
Perfect.
we'll come to later, is Suspiria and Francesca Woodman, who's a photographer who I adore. And you have this
Amazing.
shot of like a white tile floor with a hand just kind of floating out the edge of the frame. And all these are like
So
very key giant figures in the like feminist art world at this time who I think
yeah.
a lot of them go vastly underappreciated today.
Wow,
Um,
I am so happy you brought those in because I want to
yay.
dive a little bit,
Yeah,
look at
they're
some
all
more.
of them are really worth diving into. And I also
Wow.
want to give a shout out to a blog called finalgirl.rocks, who's the one who created these side-by-sides and put them together, because she did a great job of spotting some of these that I wouldn't have seen.
Yeah.
So now that we've got all of our symbols and themes laid on the table, we finally get to dive into production, which is so juicy for this film. I mean, that's always my favorite section, but we've really got a lot to cover here. So this movie shot in, obviously part of it was shot in Berlin. That's not surprising. But what is surprising is that the majority of it was actually shot in Varese, Italy, which it I'll tell you what parts of it were in a second, and it makes sense that you can't really tell. But they started shooting on Halloween 2016, which I think is adorable.
Really fun. That's really fun.
Shoot into early 2017. The Black Sabbath sequence alone took a full week to shoot. I believe that the performance of Folk also took a week, so like long time for those dance sequences. This. I'm trying to decide if I want to make you guess the budget first or after I give this tidbit. What do you think the budget is?
Oh my gosh.
It's a beefy movie. That's my hint.
And it's just so beautifully done. I am going to guess Dakota Johnson was just in all those movies. She was probably asking for a lot of money. Tilda Swinton.
Playing 3 roles.
Playing 3 roles. I'm gonna say 75 mil.
Oh my god, I love this.
Is it grossly under?
It's actually grossly over.
Oh.
This film was 20 mil. Which is like,
oh my god,
really impressive, right?
Ours are closer than I thought.
Oh, interesting.
Holy shit, 20 million. Damn, I was gonna guess 60. That was gonna be my lowest, so I still would have guessed above.
Yeah,
20 million.
I have to assume that.
Wild.
I have to assume that maybe it's a little bit cheaper, or was a little bit cheaper at this time to shoot in Italy because of like I don't know what the union situation there is, but even so, given how much they did, because this film, it's a lot of practical effects. It's also a lot of, I mean, they have professional dancers, they have choreography, there's like months of training in advance. They do so much set building and set design. Like it is so
60
extensive.
Feels correct. That's
it
wild.
does.
Like even at my lowest, I was 40 million.
Is wild, right? And the weird thing is, I read that and was like, damn, that's like, well spent, but that's a pretty high budget. I guess it must have been coming off of the success of Call Me by Your Name. I was wrong.
And you were like
I was wrong, because Call Me by Your Name was okay. So this film was in production before Call Me by Your Name came out. They shot in the same year. Call Me by Your Name came out less than a full year before Suspiria, and so which I also I listed Call Me by Your Name here as Elio and the Giant Peach, which I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna make a new DVD cover.
Yes. Oh my god, amazing.
That's so funny.
So,
oh my god, not wrong.
Oh my gosh. So
that's crazy.
It's like they really stretched that budget. They used every goddamn cent to the max. And I think probably a lot of how they were able to do that was the Varese location in Italy where they shot, which is where everything that happens at the Coven is shot. So all of the dance sequences, all of Tilda's apartment, all of the dorms, all of that is in one building in Varese, Italy. And this building, it's so, I like want to visit this place.
Holy shit,
so badly. It is an abandoned hotel on the top of a mountain overlooking the city. It had been like, there was like a caretaker who would occasionally come, but it had been closed to guests since 1968. So for 50 years before they shoot here. And as you can imagine, that was super challenging and created a really bizarre set atmosphere. So there was no electricity or running water when they came in. It was so cold that there was no modern heating either, and so like because they're shooting from like October into like March, they had to like fire these like smoky burners in between takes, and so the space would like fill with smoke, and people were like huddling together for warmth. The toilets were disgusting, but all that is just the start of the problems.
God.
Here's Luca. He says. This was a very large space, completely abandoned and decadent, with a roof that had been transformed in the last 25 years into a horrible forest of cell phone antennas. It took like 40 minutes of a car ride up into the mountain. It was very cold. It was not very comfortable. There was this constant signal coming from the antennas that made all of us very weak and tired.
What?
I know. And Dakota Johnson actually says that everybody kept like there was so much like electricity in the air from them that people kept like sparking each other, and like I'm like, what
That's
was
so
this?
dangerous. Did anyone have any concern?
I know. Like, how did this happen? So there's this constant signal coming. All of that in a way, he says, though, gave the movie a possible texture in terms of the heightened mood and the intensity that everybody went through. You could see on screen. So was it nice to shoot there? No, it wasn't. Was it good for the movie? It was, completely.
Oh my God. Did they stay? They traveled up there every day, or did they stay there? Okay.
I wish they'd stayed there. That's like the only thing that's keeping this from feeling very similar to production on my film, because that just everybody going crazy in a very weird remote location.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
And they also like the entire time they were shooting there, Dakota Johnson doesn't go into detail about what they were, but she says that there were a whole lot of unexplained coincidences that kept happening, and that people kept getting hurt in weird accidents too. Like an AD like fell onto one of the sets and broke his leg. And the entire time they were shooting at the hotel, Dakota was having recurring nightmares like her character is. So there's something going on with this space.
Life imitating art. Got it.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm so fascinated by this location. It has very big, like, the overlook from The Shining energy.
Sure. Ooh.
Yeah. So moving into cast and crew, Dakota had just worked with Luca on A Bigger Splash, and he actually pitched this project to her on the set of that movie. She danced ballet as a kid, but she stopped at 14, so she like wasn't a complete stranger to it, but it had been a long time.
Sure.
But to get ready for this, she trained for a full year before shooting, and did all of that while she was shooting The Last 50 Shades. And who did she train with? Mary Helen Bowers, who coached Natalie Portman on Black Swan. So we shared a dance trainer.
This community is pretty, I feel like, small once you get to a certain point. So that's so cool.
And I feel like so much of like the reception to Black Swan was people being like, "Oh my God, how did Natalie Portman dance that well?" That I feel like her reputation must have been.
Yeah, we have put a big, large, pointy pin in that one.
A point shoe, perhaps, for this episode. Put a point show in that. Yeah. So she also, Dakota also studied the work of the choreographers Mary Wigman and Pina Bausch, who I showed you the photo from. She was reading up on them very extensively. Bausch was also a reference for Madame Blanc, too. Like, her whole look is basically just Pina Bausch, like, redux. Like, the hair, the constant smoking, the long dresses. Yeah. It's very Pina. Also, there's a lot of Martha Graham thrown in there, too, with Madame Blanc. Tilda and Dakota also both bring up the movie The Red Shoes as a reference, which I love. Big favorite of mine. And Dakota got ready by reading Freud's The Uncanny, which I've brought in on a previous Film Theory Rant Corner.
Amazing.
Which I'm like, I really do not like her on screen, but all these things kind of do go to explain why this performance really does work. Like, the girl committed.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of crazy, because when Luca brought up this project to her on the set of A Bigger Splash, she had not seen Suspiria at the time. And so she describes it as like, he turns to her and goes, "Dakota, Suspiria." And she's like, "Luca, what?"
Okay.
Yeah. And she's like, "I just said yes because I like him. Like, I'll do anything with Luca." But she didn't watch the movie until after agreeing to do it, which is wild.
That's cool.
on the other side of that coin, mutual love of the original Suspiria was something that Tilda and Luca had bonded over 25 years before the project came to fruition. It was like
cute.
I know, it was one of the first things that they like really became friends over was their mutual love for Suspiria, which I'm like,
you have an in, Siena.
I know.
Just if you meet Tilda, I'd be like, Suspiria?
Suspiria.
Suspiria.
She'll be like, Siena, what? Okay, so now we get to return to Jessica Harper and the lie that she had to tell.
Yes.
Because she was so excited to be in a remake of this, but the call she got, I think it was from David Kojanek, the screenwriter, was the one who called her. And he was like, we'd love to have you come do a cameo. Are you comfortable doing it in German? And she's like, oh, of course I am. She does not speak a word of German. Not a goddamn word. So as she tells the story, she says, quote, I said, no problem. The only word of German I've ever spoken is Gesundheit. So I went to a Berlitz school. I love her. I went to a Berlitz school, called them right then and said, I need to make an appointment. I have to learn German tonight. Can I come over? Then I just went on pretending that I knew what I was doing.
I hear more often than not, actors love to lie up front,
they sure
but they
do.
have access to things.
And like,
you just have to learn your lines. You're fine.
Well, I mean, like, there were a lot of actors, like, I don't think that Chloe Grace Moretz, like, speaks German, but she did a pretty good job with the German in this movie.
Yeah, she, I feel like she weirdly does speak German.
Does she?
I think she does. I want to say she knows a few languages, but maybe I'm just making shit up.
Travis,
I'm also lying. I'm also lying.
Al, do you speak German? Gesundheit. So Luca also reveals a fun little tidbit that I would not have known about otherwise. Dakota Johnson technically also plays two characters because Susie has a twin sister named Naomi who we only see in the opening credits. But like on the farm in Ohio with the Mennonites, apparently one of the figures that you're seeing there is Susie's twin, which is like a weird little wrinkle that like you really don't need to know that to enjoy the movie, but it's kind of fun to know that that exists.
Yeah, funny.
Okay, so I think at this point I get to pull the pin out of the three parts.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my god,
I've been actually racking my brain of like what other
so
like full body. Yeah.
Okay, so Tilda Swinton obviously plays Madame Blanc. She plays Mother Helena Marcos, the one with like the black glasses and the kind of like Jabba the Hutt type aesthetic going on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's also Dr. Joseph Klemperer. She's the old man.
Yes. I knew there was something off about that makeup. I was like, is there a young man under there? It's Tilda. It's Tilda. I'm leaving. I'm taking this off. I'm going. Mm-hmm. Shut your goddamn mouth. Politely, of course, Siena.
Incredible.
I knew there was something. I didn't even see it in the credits.
I know. I'll tell you why.
Put it in there.
They credited it to a fictional German actor named Lutz Ebersdorf. And maintained the illusion that it was Lutz Ebersdorf through the entire publicity campaign. They had the like character posters that they do for movies? They had one with Tilda Swinton as Madame Blanc, and one with Tilda Swinton that said Lutz Ebersdorf as
I fucking love
Joseph Kemperer.
I want to kiss her on the mouth for multiple reasons.
All the reasons.
For fuck's sake.
It's so funny.
By the end, I was like, because I thought they were going to do a flashback of like a younger version. So I was like, they just put him in old. Yeah. Like for whatever reason they get.
Yeah. Because like you can tell that it's practical old age makeup, but that it's really good.
There's always something like about the mouth.
You can tell that the mouth is something. But you can't tell it's Tilda.
God. I am more so everyone loves to be gagged over oh my god, I just blanked on her name. Glenn Close in Hook. She plays like a male pirate. Why is nobody talking
far and away?
This
so much wilder, and it only gets better from here, Al. This is the thing I was most excited to talk to you.
How does it get better? What a gift!
I know, truly. We have a message from Travis. Chloe learned German for the film. Damn.
Get that out of here. That's old news. We're moving on to Tilda Swinton being an old man. Holy shit. Okay. Every time I think you can't bring in a fact that's going to blow my mind more. RFK Jr. and us really blew me away last week.
That was a fun
over
one.
that.
But Tilda Swinton really takes the cake.
Oh my God.
So her character's name, Joseph Klemperer, Klemperer means tinkerer, which is kind of a fun name to give a psychiatrist in a film. But it's also the last name of a Jewish scholar who kept famous diaries during World War II. So that clearly feeds into the character. And I'd forgotten that I could have revealed this part without telling you who it was, but I wanted to tell you the story of how she and Luca Guadagnino met, because they met in 1994, and he had sent her an offer to be in a short film without ever meeting her, just because he was like a giant fan of her work and was like, maybe I can get Tilda with a letter. She does not respond. She's like, I don't know who this tiny little Italian is. She then, like, for business reasons, goes to Italy. He knows that she's going to be going there, so he specifically goes to, like, run into Tilda, forces a meetup to happen, and then, according to her, she just, like, guilt trips him. He guilt trips her so successfully about not, like, responding to the letter that she's like, I guess we have to be friends now. And now they've worked together on, like, almost every project he's ever done.
Okay, that's a new tactic. I am mentally noting that. It's gonna work on nobody, but maybe someday.
Like, I'm so impressed by the balls this guy has. It's kind of incredible.
That's what you gotta have. I swear, in Hollywood, it's just you gotta just bulldoze right through.
And man, does Luca know how to do it. Okay, so now we get into the Lutz of it all, the Lutz Ebersdorf of it all. Oh my God, we're already at 50 minutes. Jesus Christ, there's so much to say. Okay, Lutz.
No. You have so many good things.
Oh my gosh. So Luca and everybody else really stuck to their guns of keeping Lutz Ebersdorf as secret and keeping the joke going as long as possible. And so, like, you know, rumors started spreading, largely because at this point, I'll have you pick out your last photo.
Oh my gosh.
Because somebody caught a photo from set, like a paparazzi got a photo of Tilda in the makeup and was like, Tilda Swinton's playing an old man. And so yeah. And so in response to that, what you're seeing right now is the photo that the paparazzi got next to what Luca and Tilda do to counteract this, which is they build him a fake IMDb profile and take a photo of her with a mustache added onto the Lutz Ebersdorf look to say that that's his headshot to, like, justify this. And so Luca openly calls the people saying that it's Tilda, he calls it fake news. And he jokes that, like, any time that anybody brings up whether or not it's Tilda, he just responds, isn't Lutz's performance just fantastic? And, you know, I love to cast unknown actors. And so I know, and, like, the idea that they come up with for Lutz is that he's, like, a German psychiatrist and, like, has never acted before and is just, like, an actual professional and just decided to take on this one role because Luca Guadagnino loves to cast unknown actors, and this is true.
I'm setting this as my profile photo.
I'm so glad. But, like, they go so hard.
That is so fun. Yeah. Also, those photos, that's a man. It's just really impressive. That's a real human person. Yeah.
With the mustache, it's so convincing. I mean, it's convincing in the movie, but, like, my God. Yeah. And so Tilda's actually the one who writes his fake IMDb bio, and it says that he's a psychoanalyst who specializes in mother-daughter relationships and founded an experimental theater troupe, and shot a couple of short experimental films, but they've all been lost to time since then.
Shut up.
And when he didn't show up at press events, Tilda read a statement from Lutz saying, quote, I'm a private individual who prefers to remain private, though I strongly suspect that Suspiria will be the only film I ever appear in. I like the work, and I do not mind getting up very early.
My God, stop. They went so hard.
They went so hard that some of the cast and crew never knew. There were people who genuinely were convinced that Lutz Ebersdorf was a real person.
Oh my God. Was he on the call sheet?
Yes, he was on the call sheet.
Yeah.
Of course he was.
Oh my God. Who saved one of those call sheets?
I know. And Tilda, like, openly, before the truth is revealed, she goes on record saying that she hopes Lutz gets, like, Academy recognition for his work in the film. But, like, why does she do this? Like, what's the purpose of all? For fun. Just for fun.
Yeah.
Just purely for fun. She says, quote, "As my grandmother would have it, a motto to live and die by. Dull not to." She's like,
my God.
It would just be dull not to.
I mean, it's just, she has such a fun sense of humor.
No.
Why not?
Yeah.
That's
she's like,
so silly.
She's so silly. She's just so goofy. And so when it finally does get revealed that she played these 3 characters, Guadagnino points out that it's kind of like she's playing the id, the ego, and the super ego, which love, especially as you're talking about psychiatry and psychoanalytic structure and stuff. And Tilda has a great quote where she says that, quote, "Klemperer is inhabited by the phantasm of his lost wife. He is, in this crucial respect, quote unquote, played by a woman. She dictates the rhythm of his life in the everyday texture of his bereaved loneliness." And so that's like part of what casting a woman in this role does. And it also means that in this entirely female-centric movie, the one male character is still female at his core.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. That's so great.
There's literally only 2 cis men in this entire movie, and they're the policemen. That's it. That's it. And the great thing is, Tilda's kind of disappointed that it did eventually become public, because what she wanted to have happen, her original plan was that she was going to kill Lutz off during post-production and have the movie have an in memoriam to him in the credits.
Oh my God. Who ruined her fun?
God
damn it.
The fucking paparazzis.
God damn it. Oh my
God.
That's
so fun.
Just the like outside little quests that she went on.
I know.
For like no, I mean, it got me. God damn.
She put her whole Abersdorf into it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so glad that you didn't know that going in.
Me too. I'm so happy that didn't get revealed to me, or like I didn't find. I honestly don't remember like any. Again, I didn't watch Suspiria before, so I never like looked for any information when this came out. So I'm super, super, super happy that you got to reveal that to me, because that made it all the more fun.
Getting to see that reaction live on air was such a delight.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got so much to go through still. Let's dive into making of. Our cinematographer is, I'm so sorry if I butcher his name, it is Soyombu Muktiprom, who is a Thai cinematographer who's worked a lot with Luca. He did Call Me By Your Name, Challengers, Queer, as well as Uncle Boonmi Who Can Recall His Past Lives, which is a film I adore, and Memoria, 13 Lives, and M. Night Shyamalan's Trap. And he shoots this movie on 35mm Kodak film. As he says, "This is my standing point. I always shoot movies on film. Film cameras talk to me more than digital cameras." And I'm like, yes, I love it.
The physical media.
Truly. He also, he lit the entire scene at once for most shots, like it's a stage, instead of lighting by angle, which is how you typically move. And he did that so that the actors and the camera could move around completely freely, rather than having to like reset and relight.
Right. So smart.
And because he wanted to shoot in a period style, he also didn't let himself use things like big cranes or Steadicams, because Steadicams weren't popularized yet. And so instead he like built an elaborate pulley system for one of the shots going down the stairs. He did like a lot of snap zooms, a lot of split diopter shots for the 70s touches, which we love. He also mixes frame rates a lot during the Black Sabbath scene, which like I could tell there was something going on there. What I could not tell is that he uses 5 different frame rates in it.
Oh, Jesus. I was thinking maybe 3 max.
Yeah, same. So he does 6 frames per second, 12 frames per second, 25 frames per second, 50 frames per second, and 100 frames per second.
Holy shit. Those are some wild numbers that we have not brought up on this podcast.
Yeah, none of those are like standard. Like, well, 12 is kind of standard, but like you don't have like a 24. Yeah, why not 24? What are we doing here? Interestingly though, a lot of the red in that super red scene was added in post. Most of that was not coming from the light on set.
Sure. Yeah.
Which I feel like you can it gives you more visual detail to work with doing it that way.
Yeah.
Choreography. Okay, I want to hear your reaction to the dance sequence now.
We talk about like I've only felt ill like watching a horror movie like a couple times on this podcast. I can't remember the other things. That dance sequence,
the one where
made me feel physically sick.
Where Olga's getting like ripped to shreds. That one. Yep. Yeah.
Yep. That was a really uncomfortable. I mean, it was horrifying. Effective. Like I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I fucking loved it, and I can't wait to watch it again. But I was like actually nauseous.
I think part of why is we rarely see a scene of somebody's body being like really fucked up like that in a way that looks so realistic. Like usually it's much more stylized. And so the fact that like you see her piss herself is like, oh no, that's what a person would actually do. Like it makes it, and like you see like the spit like dripping, and like it's just it's so
visceral,
real and visceral that it's like really, it's really hard to feel like it's a movie. And we're gonna talk about how they did that, like the practical and special effects. But first, it's so good. But first I want to talk a little bit about the choreography itself.
Yes, yeah.
So the choreographer for this film is named Damien Jallet, who is a Belgian-French choreographer who's collaborated with everyone from Givenchy to the performance artist Marina Abramovic, who I love, to
I love her so much.
She's so good. I'm
huge
so
fan.
glad you're a Marina
fanboy for a very, very long time.
I got to see her live one time and it like changed my life.
Get out of here. Leave. Yeah, I'm very jealous of you.
She came to the Lensic one time to give a talk. And like somebody asked her a question.
Sorry, I don't know
what
noise that was.
No, for real. I have to share this tidbit. I'm so sorry.
Please do.
Somebody asked her a question about like, I'm an artist in love with another artist. What do I do? How did you deal with this? And she was like, never fall in love with another artist. That's my only advice. Move on. And I was like, oh.
God, she's just been like, this is not that podcast, but that is so cool. Anyways.
And this is like a very Marina Abramovic coded film. Like there's a lot of shared DNA there.
Movie, yeah.
I would imagine. Anyway, he's also worked with the composer Ryuichi Sakamoto, and he made a short with Paul Thomas Anderson called Anima 1 year after Suspiria came out. So if you want more of his style of work, check that out.
Yeah, cool.
Dakota also refers to the dance in Susie's audition piece as a minestrone soup of dance, which I loved for its like total stylistic mashup, which is like very much, he wanted it to feel like she's just been watching stuff from the library and doesn't have a dance teacher. And so it's like this weird combination of things. Cool. He also draws a lot for the Black Sabbath scene from Indonesian dance practices because he really wants it to feel like it's very like ritual influenced. And the story of how he and Luca Guadagnino met is actually really great and kind of spooky. As he puts it, actually, he says very spooky. He says, quote, Luca had seen this thing that I did at the Louvre Museum in 2013, a performance called Les Médusées, like the Medusas. And and thought it was almost literally the dance described in the script for the film. The really spooky thing is that when I brought the 3 female dancers together to make that dance, I told them, listen, there's this film I want to show you. We're not going to pull anything from it directly, but there's something in its spirit that I'd like you to capture. That film was the original Suspiria. So they were like, this was meant to be from the beginning. And he actually ends up adapting that dance that Luca came and saw, Les Médusées, into what becomes folk. So like some of that choreography gets used. Even some of the costuming too, like those red drips. The costume for Les Médusées was that same design, but it was all white instead of red. And so they were like, oh, we got to make it blood drips.
Amazing.
Production design is by Inbal Weinberg, who also PD'd Blue Valentine, Place Beyond the Pines, Perks of Being a Wallflower, Beasts of No Nation, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, The Lost Daughter, and God's Creatures. So yeah, she is incredible.
Wow, she's got a stamp on her style in a way that feels so, oh god,
like those
really
are all
cool.
such
I
different
love
films,
when you can see it.
but like you can tell that's the same production designer somehow, which is really cool. And she combined pieces from like a whole bunch of different decades when she was building the witches' quarters, because she said that, quote, what we were trying to convey is that the company has been around for generations, like a suspiciously long time. So like if you look at their kitchen, especially, it's like pieces from all these different decades kind of mashed together.
That's so smart.
And she like hides a whole lot of secrets in the patterns on the walls and floors. She says, quote, early on, we decided to have these secret graphic elements for the witches. One was a kind of geometric Bauhaus claw motif. We used it on posters and on the door in the dance studio. Then I took that claw element and made it into this kaleidoscopic carpet, which is the one that you see in Tilda's apartment, where she's got that blue and black carpet. It's the shape of the claw that they use, just kind of like repeated all over. The weirdest and coolest production design detail, though, and this like gave me shivers, is in the Mutterhaus, where the final like Black Sabbath takes place. So they shot that in a loggia of the hotel, which I had to look up what that is. It's like a covered exterior gallery corridor type of situation. So long, thin, has a roof, doesn't have walls. But it has all these arches. And they wanted to fill those arches with some kind of texture. And they realized that just paint wasn't going to cut it. So instead, what they do is take hemp fiber and make these like human hairstyle braids to fill the arches and dress the performers in them. And like her headcanon is that the texture of the wall is made up of the hair of the witches' victims.
Ooh, that's cool. And I gotta rewatch this.
It's incredible. It's very subtle, actually, because like you know, there's so much going on and there's so much red that it's not where your eye is drawn. But once you know, and they like, because there's so much blood in that scene, at the end of every day they'd have to like wash all the hair out and brush it to like get it clean. It's so wild. And like rebraid and drape
the
it.
Mutterhaus hair.
The Mutterhaus hair. Now we get to dive into special effects makeup. And in particular, Tilda's Lutz makeup, which is by Marc Coulier, who had actually already worked with her doing old age makeup for Tilda, albeit not in drag, for Grand Budapest Hotel. He was the one who did that look. And he has an amazing career. He worked on Nightbreed, he did Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, and Candyman, the original. And he used prosthetics to give her a thicker neck and a wider jawline. He like built up her nose a whole lot. He said that the full makeup look took about 4 hours, but lest 4 hours. But lest she lose sight of her sense of fun, Tilda also had Mark make her a dick and balls that she wear the entire time she was in costume. And he has a quote about it. He says, she had this nice weighty set of genitalia so that she could feel it dangling between her legs. And she managed to get it out on set on a couple of occasions.
Oh my god. Again, I just can't. Every time I think I can't love her more.
I know. Tilda Swinton, you dirty old man.
Oh my god. Of course. Do you think she has it like in a jar on her shelf, like on her mantle at home?
I really hope so.
Rest in pieces.
Oh my god. In memoriam, Lutz Abersdorf.
Yeah, in memoriam, yeah.
And that brings us to how they pulled off that death sequence that you were talking about, the dance death sequence. Oh my god. So that character's name is Olga, and the actress who plays Olga, her name is Elena Fokina, and she is a contortionist as well as a professional dancer, which helps. But that's not all that we've got going on. We've got kind of 3 layers of work between the actor, the practical effects, and the VFX all kind of working in concert. So here's an explanation from Mark. He says, we had a false arm prosthetic that was strapped to one of her shoulders, and later a visual effects company removed her real arm. So she's got like green screen material on one of her arms and on one of her legs. We also put a false leg on her and twisted that right back to the point where people might look at it and go, is that real? That can't be. No, surely it's... and visual effects removed her actual leg. So when you see her right at the end, it's definitely like no actress would be able to do that, whether she's a contortionist or not. But we wanted to keep it on that borderline where you look at it and go, is that the actress or not?
Yep.
And you can tell there is a lot of that is just her. And apparently part of it was actually inspired by the movie Deliverance, where you see like an actor like actually like dislocates his shoulder in the middle of a take, and like it's which I think that's part of why that's so visceral, is like we can tell a human body is not supposed to be able to do that, but part of that is a human body doing that.
Right.
Music is by Tom York of Radiohead, which such a wild get. So he had music in has had music in more than 300 films and TV shows, including The Prestige, The Third Guardians of the Galaxy, One Battle After Another, 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, Yellow Jackets, The Bear, The Crown, Peaky Blinders, Fresh, Ozark, Prisoners, Twilight, Skins, Children of Men, Sopranos, Oz, Vanilla Sky, Roswell, Velvet Goldmine, and The Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet. But he's actually composed original scores for very few films, and hard to believe as it is, this was the first narrative feature that he ever composed for.
Wow.
And he did not want to do it at first. It took a lot of convincing. But as we've learned, Luca Guadagnino, a very persistent fellow. He says, quote, "I'm a bit of a dreamer. I tried to dare myself to think of the impossible, so I dared myself to dream of him doing the soundtrack, even though he's never done one before. After a couple times trying, I pushed him to see me, and we met, and he said yes. It was a very profound collaboration." He makes this sound so easy, and I get the sense that it really wasn't. But he actually ends up getting him on so early that Tom York starts composing before the shoot begins, and he actually also gets his own son Noah to play drums on 2 of the tracks, which I thought was cute.
That's really cute.
Tom, meanwhile, for his own part, looking back on how this happened, says, quote, "It was one of those moments in your life where you just want to run away, but you know you'll regret it if you do. I watched the original film several times, and I loved it because it was of that time, an incredibly intense soundtrack. Obviously, Goblin and director Dario Argento worked together incredibly closely when they did it together. So he agrees to dive in. He's like, I'm going to regret it if I don't. And he draws inspo from the krautrock music scene, musique concrète, and the score for Blade Runner. So like very diverse references, all of which are very different from what the original Suspiria is doing. And he multiple times in interviews compares the process of writing the score to spell casting, which I love. But apparently one of the trickiest parts of composing for this movie was actually the folk performance, that like show that they do, because they choreographed that and shot it to different music, and then York had to work backwards to write to the movement, which is like, God, that sounds hard, especially because that is not like, it's very staccato movement. It's like working against the music, and so like how are you gonna do that? Okay, now we're getting to release. We're rounding the corner, kind of.
No, I love this. I feel like we've been only talking for 20 minutes about this. I'm like, I could go on. I love this movie.
It's so packed. So the film actually got a little tease at CinemaCon in Las Vegas, and they like showed the scene of Olga getting torn apart while people were eating, and a bunch of people got up and left the room.
I would have been one of them, but I'd be like peeking around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I need to know, but I need my food. And it premiered at the Venice Film Festival, distributed in America by Amazon. And so this is very weird. When it first opened, and it opens just in New York and LA, on October 26th, so the weekend before Halloween, it has the highest per-screen weekend box office average of any film launched that year. So, like, it's off to a great start. And then it expands on Halloween and totally bombs. Like, bombs so badly. Like, makes less than 8 mil worldwide. Against a 20 mil production budget. In America, it made less than 2.5 at the box office, which is like, for a wide release. I know, for a wide release film with this cast, the year after he directed Call Me by Your Name, which got all this Oscar recognition, like, ow. Oh my God, it's so wild. And it also seems to me like there was a decently expensive ad campaign too, so you can only imagine how far in the red this film was. Reception, it holds a 65% from critics, which I think is disgusting.
Yeah,
like,
that's
how
really
dare
awful.
you?
It shouldn't be below 75,
No,
I feel like, at
absolutely.
least from them.
And even
You
audiences, it's just got a 72, which I'm like,
at least the audience get it a little bit more,
they get
but
it a little more, but, like, come
yikes.
on. I will say, though, it is very much a case of it being there because people are either giving it 1 star or 5 stars and nothing in between. Like, you have very
Everyone
strong feelings on this film
yeah,
one way or
yeah,
another.
sure.
There's even the Rolling Stone review, its opening line for the review of Suspiria is, "Polarizing is too tame a word to describe reactions to Luca Guadagnino's radical rethinking of Suspiria. Either you'll dig in
Damn.
or you bolt for the exit. There's no in between." And that's really accurate. And because there were critics loved to dive into this movie, whether they loved it or hate it, there are so many articles about why somebody thinks this is good or why somebody thinks this is bad. So instead of bringing in quotes from them, I created a list of the top 10, like, or not top 10, but like the top like praises and complaints that the film got to try and break it
Sick.
down. So things they praise include its refusal to try and recreate the original. People like that it's
Mhm.
doing its own thing. Its clear love for the source material. Its ambition, the dance sequences. Nobody can fault those dance sequences. Everybody's like,
Mm-mm.
that's fucking spectacular. The way the political setting echoes America in the first Trump presidency. If you think about like 2018, what
Oh,
life was
yeah.
like back then, having this
Oh,
come
yeah.
out, people, which I think may have something to do with why it bombed. I think it maybe
Mhm.
felt a little too close to home.
Mhm.
It's very deep and surprising sense of sadness, the color palette, the interesting Jungian stuff about the shadow self, and its feminism. Things
Mm.
critics dislike include its runtime. A lot of people think it's way too long,
What?
which I'm like, it uses every
Was
minute of that
I was
runtime
like,
to the
was it?
max.
How long was it?
It's over 2.5 hours. It's a
No
long movie, but it
way.
doesn't feel like it,
Really?
right?
Yeah,
Like, it
no.
keeps going. Which is really impressive for a movie that is this heavy and this long
Mhm.
to feel like I stayed engaged the whole time.
Absolutely.
Um, some people took a lot of issue with the amount of space that it gives to like the temporal and political setting. People are like, that has nothing to do with what you're doing. Why are you giving this all this space? And it's like, that's his take on it. That is the whole
Right.
intention.
Right.
Um, the sheer number of metaphorical and thematic concerns, there are a lot of people who are like, you're trying to do too many things and all of them are too abstract because you're doing all of them at once.
Hmm.
Um, people think that there's too much psychobabble without grounding. People think it's too abstract. And then there's like this weird contingent of people,
Mhm.
particularly male film critics,
Oh, I'm
who
shocked.
rip this film apart for being anti-feminist. And I'm like,
Excuse me? Say that say that sentence
yeah,
again.
you heard me. People think that
Sure,
this,
let us know your
yeah,
feelings about that.
a whole
We
bunch of
care.
like middle-aged white men think that this film is deeply misogynist. And I'm
Oh, don't you
like,
love when we make them mad?
I
Way to go,
know.
Luca.
Well, and it's so fun. Like that debate goes really like that's the one that people are the most split on. Is like, is this film like profoundly feminist or profoundly misogynist? And there's nothing in between. And most
I
of
have
where that comes from is how people are reading the way it approaches violence. Whether you see it as
hmm.
like exploring women in power who are doing bad things, or whether you see it as the film saying that women in power means that they will do bad things, that like when women
Mhm.
are in power they will abuse it, which I'm like, no, it's just saying that people in power abuse power.
Yeah.
um there's also like people who think that it's like very like male gazy too, and I'm like, I've seen a lot of male gazy films and this is not one of them. Like,
Yeah,
sure, you see
no.
a lot of female bodies, but like this is so
It
profoundly a film
feels
made by a gay man. Like,
yeah, it feels different, and I think anyone saying the other has to look within.
I agree. Yeah. From what I could tell, it was almost
Yeah.
exclusively straight men who had this take. And I'm like, I really don't
Mhm.
care about your take on misogyny, but
Yeah.
also if you're feeling that irritated by the way this movie is addressing
Mhm.
women, that in itself might be a sign that it's feminist.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
the fact
that's
that
a
it's
wild
irritating you that
take.
much.
Yeah, that's how you know it's
Hmm.
it's the opposite of what they're feeling.
Yep.
That's great. I love to hear that. I love
Uh-huh.
to ruffle their little,
I
I
know,
don't know,
it's kind of
tiny feathers.
exciting. They're little feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
appropriate for your film.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so remember how I said that Luca hinted that Argento liked it, but he didn't want to speak for him?
Mhm.
The movie comes out,
Uh-huh.
Argento speaks and he did not like it, which is so sad.
No.
He says,
Oh,
quote,
no.
he's like very polite about Luca, but he does not like the film and says, quote, "It did not excite me. It betrayed the spirit of the original film. There is no fear. There is no music. The film has not satisfied me so much." I'm like,
oh
oh
no, that's
dear.
really not a fun little.
I know.
He could have. You know what? You should just say, especially like if you liked Luca so much, just be like, I hope the audiences like make their own assumptions about the film or something like that. You know what I mean? Like leave it like so vague. That's such a wildly bold statement.
Like give a diplomatic answer. Like it's a very different version than mine, but everybody has their right to their own interpretation. Like
yeah, or like how wonderful that he wanted to make
something so different.
Something, yeah.
Especially when you just told him you don't need my permission. Go make your own version. Like
that's the thing too. Like don't let.
I know. I almost feel like, because like Luca describes it as like he had a phone call with him afterwards and the phone call went well. And so I'm almost like, did he lie to Luca's face and then say this in the press? Because that'd be really shitty. That's really, really shitty.
Bummer.
But we can all love it 10 times more to make up for it. And to break your heart just a little bit more, I'm so sorry.
Great.
That there was going to be a sequel. And it could not happen because this bombed so badly. As he says, and this is it's so cute because like I can hear it in Luca's voice. Somebody asked him like a couple years later whether that was still on the table, and he says, How, my dear? The movie made absolutely nothing. It was a disaster at the box office. I loved making that movie. It's very dear to me. But writer David Kojanek and I had really conceived it as the first half of a bigger story. Which, when you think back to the original, it was the first in a trilogy. And that was kind of the step that he was taking. Damn. And he's gone out and shared what it was going to be, and it sounds really interesting.
Oh no.
The working title for the film was actually Suspiria Part 1, and so he was going to do like a wraparound prequel sequel where he says, quote, "Truthfully, I'd be interested to explore the origin of Madame Blanc and Helena Marcos, and also the future of Susie Bannion in the world. I have this image in my mind of Marcos in solitude in the year 1212 in Scotland or Spain, wandering through a village and trying to find a way on how she can manipulate the women of the village. I know she was there. I know it was 600 to 700 years before the actual storyline of this film." And I'm like, I want that version so badly. Who's gonna crawl out of the woodwork and give him another 20 million to...
I was gonna say, well, now do you think he's like hustling and bustling on his movie? So
honestly,
like...
I would love to see that be the case, because he's like the past several, with the exception of After the Hunt, like Challengers did really well. A lot of what he's been doing has done really, really well.
I feel like even Queer did pretty decently.
Yeah, and like Bones and All did pretty well.
Bones and All, yeah.
Like he's had a lot of successes since this. So, God, I hope somebody resurrects Suspiria Part 2. But one last sadness.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry.
Not a third one in a row.
It's so horrible, but it's also so appropriate to this like incredibly sad film that like it ends really dark. This film got sued. So the estate of Ana Mendieta, the Cuban artist that I brought up, who has the photo that I showed you of like the silhouetted woman and the wrapped hands. Yeah. Her estate, she's dead, but her estate claimed copyright infringement in both the trailer and the movie and forced them to remove several images from the trailer and from the film itself, and they settled for an undisclosed amount, which makes me really sad because Luca Guadagnino was very open about the fact that she was an inspiration. Like, I think this was an Amazon problem, not a Luca problem, because there's plenty of interviews where he's like, I love Ana Mendieta, she was a giant influence. Like, he was not trying to plagiarize here. He was like showing admiration. Yeah.
Bummer.
So just to
that didn't
really
help
end
with
on
the
a dark note.
Either.
Well, that's the thing is like of course he's not going to want to go back in and do a second when it's like you made this like incredibly personal remake of this movie that you knew people were probably not going to be fans of. But not only are critics like so polarized on it and so like accusing you of being a misogynist about it, you also lose like you barely make back like a third of the budget at the box office, and then you get sued. And like all of this is happening under Amazon. Like, you know, they're going to make his life a living hell. So it's just, it's so sad. It's very, very sad. But I'm so glad that this film exists. And like, especially as somebody who really, really loves like a lot of these artists that he's mentioning, like Ana Mendieta, Francesca Woodman, like these are Pina Bausch are some of like my biggest inspirations, and so few people know about them today. Like Ana Mendieta, she was almost certainly murdered by her husband, who was a famous artist, and went to trial for it and got acquitted. Like it's like such a classic story of these were all women who were doing incredible things and were married to very famous men, or like were in the shadows of very famous men, and the men's reputations have lived on and theirs have not. And so like Suspiria also is like kind of a coven of like all of these female artists who are no longer with us, who made this beautiful work that like is quoted visually in the film. And like on that level alone, it's kind of magic. Like,
oh my god, it makes me love him so much more for having such depth behind this remake. And damn, now I'm gonna be mad. No one's allowed to hate this movie.
I know.
No, like no one's allowed anymore for any reason, really.
I do think that it's become, I think it's gotten a better reception in retrospect. Like when I was looking on Letterboxd, I can't remember the actual score it has, but I know it was like 4 and 5 were the 2 most common ratings. So like people do really like it. At least audiences really like it. But I'm actually gonna see if I can find that. But
and people like me probably that like have either haven't seen the original or have been avoiding, hopefully see it and can appreciate it for what it is, because calling it a remake feels wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't do it justice. Okay, it has a 3.7. So it's
for Letterboxd, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty fucking good for Letterboxd. So.
It's hard pressed to get anything like much higher than I've learned on that platform.
My gosh, I love this. The top 2 reviews are TikTok dances with the girls, and who needs to understand what the fuck is going on when the vibes are this good? And I think that's the note to end on. Although hopefully now you understand what's going on a little better.
Oh my god, yeah, it was incredible. It's definitely going to be a rewatch multiple times. It was just like
it's so rich.
Like you said, so engaging. I love Mia Goth. So in this role, she's just so
sweetie.
God, I know her like expressive doe eyes in this. I just love her on screen,
and it's such great casting too. Like I know she's a secondary role, but like it's perfect for her. Everybody's perfect. Lutz Ebersdorf most of all.
I mean that, like I cannot wait to watch it again, knowing that fact. Because Siena, literally the whole movie, I was like, that's gotta be makeup. That's makeup, right? It's gotta be makeup. And then, like, of course, because we do this, I don't look anything up as hard as it is.
And again, it's not in the credits. Like, it's credited as Lutz Ebersdorf.
That's just one of the best. That goes on my top list of things that you've brought in for us all. So.
Well, and like her voice is so convincing. Like that sounds like an 83-year-old man.
Oh my god, like, I didn't even think about the voice.
The voice is so good.
I need to like sit in a corner,
decompress a little bit.
Like just stare and think about what I watch.
Conspiracy theory: Lutz Ebersdorf is a real person, and Tilda Swinton's just taking credit for his performance.
Is that who my internal monologue is?
Yes.
Tilda
oh my god.
Drag as Lutz.
Well, and like when she did reveal it, she was like, I haven't been lying and saying that I didn't play Joseph Kemperer. Joseph Kemperer is played by Lutz Ebersdorf. It just so happens that I played Lutz.
I am. Oh my god. That's just, I don't even know. How am I supposed to follow this with anything?
Listen, Black Swan.
I feel like I should pack it up.
Pretty beefy.
It's pretty beefy. I got some controversies.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
And we very much have like weird parallels. So I'm
not surprised. These films were a good double feature. Yeah. Lots in common.
Amazingly so. On that note.
Should we go stretch, put on our point shoes and come right back?
Yeah. Let me go just like locate
your shoulder
real quick.
We'll be right back. was saying that they're gonna have trouble saying Aronofsky, and I feel like I have to admit that I was convinced that this movie was directed by David Fincher.
Oh, fun.
I thought it wasn't
Black
even
Swan?
Aronofsky. Yes!
I mean, both of these, I kind of, like, forgot who the directors were to a point, and it's just like, oh, yeah.
Fincher and Aronofsky are very much in the same mental box for
Sure,
me,
sure.
and they just blended into one white dude
Listen,
director amalgamation for me.
yeah,
And I love this movie. I
like
want to be clear. I love this movie.
we just do have a lot of white male directors,
There's a
and
lot
it's
of male
just
directors.
sometimes they, you know what, they deserve to be put in a box together. I don't feel
It's
bad.
true.
Throw them in that box.
I think we should put them in more boxes, honestly.
Truly.
More white male directors in boxes 2026.
And some of them we throw underwater, and some of them we can
Exactly.
throw, I don't know, other places. So.
Some of them we take up to the top of the mountain set piece in Swan Lake and throw them off the back, except we don't have a
yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we leave it. It's just a pit with spikes in it. A la Saw. Maybe just put some needles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Black
you're good.
Swan Saw crossover. Black Saw. I love it.
Black Saw. Oh my God. Somebody make a musical of that, please. Really just hit on all cylinders.
God.
Oh God.
I would watch the fuck out of that. I gotta be honest.
The way me and you probably could just riff on like weird crossover pairings, but we won't. That's not this podcast. Sorry, guys. Okay. Black Swan, we've both seen this movie, I feel like, numerous times, correct? Okay.
This is foundational.
Yeah.
This is
oh my God, I'm sure.
A forming text, yeah.
Do we have a Theo? Hello?
We have a Theo. Is she meowing audibly? I'm so sorry.
No, I just saw the curtain move like a little ghost, and so I wanted to say hi. Yes. Everyone say hi, Theo.
Hi, Theo. She loves being recognized. She loves her fans.
Yeah, she has to sign her little autographs at some point.
Her autographs. Stop.
She's
That's so good.
I'm so jealous you have a cat. But instead of black cats, we're talking about Black Swans. 2010.
Great segue.
Thanks. We have I feel like we both really like this film. I just did a rewatch not that long ago for the first time in a long time, and I was just like, hell yes, I forgot how great this movie is. So it was fun that we got to
oh my God,
do this a couple months later.
I hadn't revisited it in a very long time. Like probably since I'm trying to remember if I last watched it in high school or in college. Probably in college.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's been a hot several years. And wow, I had a thought as I was driving home from work today. I was like, I wonder if that movie's part of why I stayed in the closet as long as I did. Like, I feel like this fucked me up, and I love it so much.
Funny. It's I like weirdly. I have like a tiny bit. We don't talk too much of that. I kind of like, much like yours, I feel like I had to pick and choose because there was so much about this.
Yeah.
So I feel like I brought in like the highlight reel as I've been doing as of late. But yeah, I've been very fortunate. I feel like I've had some bad notes because of lack of information. The last few I've had a plethora, so it's been nice to kind of pick. But I have like over 15 sources for this. There's so many interviews that are given from like every single department, which again is very refreshing to hear from.
That's so great.
I think we hear from like all the hitters on this one. I have like costume. God. I have, so I have a little bit of everyone. So it's like, that's always so nice. So everything I'm talking about, there's like multiple articles, multiple interviews. So it was very nice.
Love.
Yeah. So I had to keep it. I had to cut myself short too. So diving in, for a change of pace, we have one tagline for a film. Which never seems to happen. They don't like to shut up. Yeah, they committed.
I love
it. And I feel like me and you are both going to love it for different ways and relate to it in different ways. It is, I just want to be perfect.
No!
Yep, see, it goes right through and you're like, ugh. Yep. So it is perfect, and they need not go on to do any more. So I love that they stopped there.
They knew exactly what they were doing.
Yes. So, as we've said, it's director Darren Aronofsky. I feel like this is a huge crack in the cold one with the boys.
Apologies, y'all.
Most
it's a LaCroix.
Friday.
It's a fucking LaCroix.
Don't lie, Siena. No, just kidding. To be fair, I'm on my third cup of coffee. For those of you who
are just listening, you'll never know.
You'll never know.
I'm so sorry. I tried to find a pause in the conversation to do it, and then I got so thirsty that I just gave up. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I have my coffee in my hand. So, but Aronofsky, again, white male director. But obviously then, other than Black Swan, he directed Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, Mother, which is starring Jennifer Lawrence, and 2022's The Whale with Brendan Fraser. So,
I think this and Requiem are the only two of his I've actually seen.
Same, and Requiem was so long ago that I don't remember all. I remember the broad strokes. Gotta rewatch.
I gotta be honest.
I can't remember. It was college.
It was not my favorite.
And I was told to watch it, and I really have an aversion to that. So
that's a great way to kill a film experience.
Yeah. So I wanted to note, kind of, again, we always pick these films that are very parallel in ways. So he went right from 2008's The Wrestler to Black Swan. So I feel like these came and they were kind of in conversation. A lot of these articles bring up The Wrestler, and a lot of people noted that it was interesting for him to go from a wrestling film to a ballet film, as they were both kind of similar in the terms of choreography and competitiveness. So I do have a quote from him. It's a long quote kind of addressing this, because again, in everything you read about Black Swan, The Wrestler always gets brought up, again, because it was right before this as well.
So it's Call Me by Your Name of your
yeah. Although I have not seen The Wrestler, so I can't say if it's good, but Call Me by Your Name was amazing.
It sure was, yeah.
So he talks about this. He says, quote, "I've always considered the two films companion pieces. They are really connected, and people will see the connections." It's funny because wrestling, some consider the lowest art, which I think is wild, if they would even call it art, and ballet, some consider the highest art. But what was amazing to me is how similar the performance in both of these worlds are. They both make incredible use of their bodies to express themselves. They're both performers. At one point, way before The Wrestler, I was actually developing a project that was about a love affair between a ballet dancer and a wrestler. And then it kind of split off into two movies. So I guess my dream is that some art theater will play the films as a double feature someday. So Siena, with your programming if you ever want to do that.
Oh my God, that actually slaps. I haven't seen The Wrestler still. That's a really cool reason to put them together.
I think it's really cute that he wanted that. So I thought that was kind of adorable. He kind of won. I haven't really read, I haven't seen interviews with him before. I wouldn't really say I'm a fan of his, because I just really don't know his work. I obviously love this film. So he kind of won me over in a lot of ways that I was not expecting. He seems very charming and authentic, but put a pin in that, because there are some controversies that I kind of also end on a weird little controversial note at the end. So not melancholic, but controversial. So I love it that even our notes are paralleled. So
yes.
We have screenwriters. So the screenplay for Black Swan was actually based on Andre Hines' original screenplay called The Understudy.
Oh,
and so it's very similar to that. I think I might have a note about it right after. So we'll come back to him. And the screenplay was by John McLaughlin. He did screenplays for 2013's Parker, the 2012 movie Hitchcock, which has a loaded cast that I haven't seen, and I don't even feel like I heard about that movie.
I remember seeing the commercial for it, but I never actually saw it. Yeah, it's
I hate when they throw up A-list actors in a movie. I feel like it can't be good.
Disingenuous. Yeah.
So he did that. And then he did the 2021 TV series Grey. And then eventually we have a third co-writer enters the chat, Mark Heyman. He wrote Skeleton Twins, which I love and I feel like is grossly underappreciated.
I desperately need to see that. I've heard really good things.
I love it. I would be actually very curious to hear your thoughts on it. I have not revisited it since, but I loved it at the time. He did the TV series Strange Angel and was a producer on The Wrestler. So they'd worked together before. We'll talk about him a little bit more in a second. So with conception and script, Darren Aronofsky first became interested in ballet because his sister actually studied dance at the High School of Performing Arts in New York City. So he was adjacent to that world. And like I said, the idea for the understudy, that original script, they started working on that, and that actually followed off-Broadway actors and explored the idea of being haunted by a double. And and he first heard about that screenplay while editing Requiem for a Dream, which I think is interesting. So he's kind of had this for a minute. And then after making 2006 The Fountain, which is also kind of referenced in a lot of these articles, it's like The Fountain, The Wrestler, and Black Swan are always grouped together for some reason.
This is the trilogy.
Yes, that's where producer Mike Medavoy, who co-founded Orion Pictures, had screenwriter John McLaughlin come in and rewrite the understudy.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's how he kind of gets brought in. And I believe he works with Aronofsky, which I might have a note about. They work on I think they founded a studio together too. So
cool.
I don't know where I put that, but it's in my notes somewhere. So when we get to it, you already know. So Aronofsky said, John, quote, took my idea of Swan Lake and the ballet and put the story into the ballet world and changed the title to Black Swan. So that's kind of like they didn't have to do much work to rework it. He also said the original screenplay, the understudy, also had elements of 1950s All About Eve and Roman Polanski's The Tenant, which I have not seen.
Oh, interesting. I can
see it. And a novel called The Double, which is by Fyodor Dostoevsky.
Dostoevsky. You got it.
Thank you.
You killed it.
I was like, I know how to say this, but it's so tiny on my screen. Yeah. So all those elements in it. So if you know kind of references to any of those, which you seem to.
I love a double story.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, why ballet? We know kind of he has this history with his sister. It was a kind of if someone in your life does ballet and takes it seriously and professionally, it's 9 to 10 hours. It is their life. You're gonna kind of as a sibling. You have to
live it too. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially sibling. I'm sure. I don't know who was older or what, but getting dragged around. I'm sure to a point.
Ballet overflows into a household for sure.
Yes. Yeah. And so the school that she went to was actually the school featured in Fame and often is referred to as the Fame School. Are you familiar?
I'm you're taking me back to the wars, Al. When my art school that I attended as a high schooler and now teach at as an adult was founded, and I came in the first year it existed, we all were watching Fame constantly because we were like, oh, that's what we're doing.
My God,
both versions
I love that
actually.
So much.
Yeah, so very, very, very familiar.
Again, you have to take a drag of your fake cigarette. It's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
I haven't heard that in years.
That's so funny. So
I also
you and Aronofsky are the same.
I also should come clean that I did ballet for 6 or 7 years, not that long in the scale of ballet, but long enough that it was starting to get to that weird point where that ballet gets to where you have to either commit to it or stop.
Absolutely.
And I stopped, thank God. But
I love watching. I'm fascinated. I've watched every documentary, TV show, and I'm just like so fascinated by the ballet world because I've
wild and so destructive. It's so bad.
Yes,
like
pin
the
in
art
that.
form is
We will
amazing.
talk about that too.
The culture around it, so bad.
It's so intense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I don't even know where I was going with that. Anyways,
that was me taking us off on a tangent. My apologies.
I'm like, I could talk about ballet all day. We have the understudy. That's kind of like our core. I try to find like how they found it. It just kind of seems like it landed in the right verse of his lap, and he really kind of was struck by it. So Aronofsky proposed a detailed outline of Black Swan script to Universal Pictures, who then decided to actually fast track development of the project in 2007. And as often the case, it was he said it sort of died again. So it wasn't until after he made 2008's The Wrestler that it was brought to Mark Heyman, which, as we know, he was kind of brought on to rewrite the script. So that's why we get the two people. And so here it is. The fact that you guys know. Mark was the director of development for Aronofsky's production company, Protozoa Pictures. That's what I couldn't remember. Protozoa Pictures. Cool. And so he was brought on as a partner to like make it more workable, as I say in air quotes. So who knows what it was like, but that's where we get all of them. So then in June of 2009, Universal actually placed the project on a turnaround, aka needing outside help because they were stuck in development hell. So because of this, it kind of like got a few people's attention of other studios, particularly because Natalie Portman was already attached to the project.
Oh, interesting.
Which is interesting because they're kind of like struggling with it, but then you have this essentially A-list actor attached.
For her to be attached to something and turn around is kind of odd.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that too, kind of that relationship. But finally, Black Swan was put into development under Protozoa, like I said, and Overnight Productions. Overnight actually helped to finance the film, along with Fox Searchlight, who ended up distributing the film. So that's where the money came from. Finally, would you like to take a guess at budget for mine? Which I kind of, again,
you said they're closer than you'd thought.
Yes. Yeah. Because I was wildly impressed by the use of the budget on your film. Mine makes sense. Yours gagged me.
That makes me feel like yours is somewhere between 20 and 30. I'm going to say 26.
Lower. Oh, half, in fact.
Oh my God, 13? That's impressive.
Right? I think so.
Well done.
Yeah.
That feels very appropriate. Yeah.
And I think you'll see where the money went. I think it all makes sense. It all adds up for the most part.
I guess like I'm assuming this was shot. Well, what am I saying? There were parts of it that were very clearly shot in New York, and I imagine they got some good tax breaks with that too.
Ooh, see, I don't know New York filming tax, but I imagine.
Well, part of the reason that I know at least part of it was there is because the legs that were used for Winona Ryder's broken legs were at the Museum of the Moving Image in New York, and so I got to see
Oh my God, that's really cool. No way.
They're like
they
right
have
next
her
to
broken legs.
It's really great. They're like in a case like right across from Reagan's like turning head from The Exorcist.
No
it's great.
way. I had no idea.
So if y'all are looking for something cool to visit,
that's actually really fun. Oh my God, I love that. That's really cool. If anyone has pictures from that, please DM us because I just want to see everyone else's pictures. That's really cool.
Yes,
oh my God. Speaking of Natalie Portman and her poor little legs,
there you go.
Natalie Portman plays Nina. She's our protagonist in this. I wasn't even gonna put anything for her because I'm like, if you don't know Natalie Portman, have you watched a movie? V for Vendetta, Closer. She's Padme in Star Wars. She's Jane Foster in Thor: Like Avengers. She's in the MCU. Mars Attacks, Annihilation, which I still have to watch. Annihilation. I do have the books in it myself too.
I think you'll like it.
I've seen some like clips and it intrigues me. So one of these days.
I think it's L coded. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. So yeah, she's in. If you don't recognize her, just turn off the podcast. I don't know what to say to you. So Aronofsky, this is where like her being attached. So he had first talked with Natalie Portman about the possibility of a ballet film back in 2000 when she was still in college at Harvard University.
Wow.
And so he always said like he was going to keep her in mind for this project. And so she kind of always kept it in her head. I didn't really write it down, but I guess he like kept reminding her like, I'm going to do this
Aw.
one day. I'm going to do this one day. I still want to work with you. So
That's
all the
cool.
way. Yep. And he was true to his words. So I really appreciate him for that. Hopefully he wasn't creepy about
Mhm.
it. Um, you never know. So I'm just going to
You
make that
never
statement.
know.
So Natalie said it was, quote, exciting to me as it was a world that I always really appealed to me as a form of expression without words. So she was very
Mm.
excited to be part of it. A little note too, because I didn't know where to put this. So fun fact about Nina's voice in the film. Darren and Natalie actually worked together and talked a lot about Nina's voice in the movie.
Mm.
Natalie Portman noted that in their, and it very much their experience, a lot of the women that they met along with research and just in general in the ballet world had very girlish voices.
True.
Yes.
Very true.
Especially when you're working your body that hard, there's
Yeah. Like it slows down, like
mhm.
a lot of people stop having periods, like it just kind of
Yeah.
like shuts everything down.
Yeah, so it makes sense on a biological level.
Mhm.
Natalie says, quote, not all of them, but at least some of them of the standout individuals almost all had little girl voices, which I see in many
Mhm.
walks of life because there's this real instance on keeping a woman a girl. We really wanted to fluctuate between a white swan voice and a black swan voice. So that's how they came up with the idea of Nina, those together for Nina in this movie. And I found that really interesting. Also, put a pin in oh my god, what's her name? We will talk about her stunt double in this film. And I watched interviews with her
Ooh.
stunt double, and
Sick.
she sounds a lot like her stunt double.
Oh, interesting.
So keep that in mind. We will be talking about her. Her name's Sarah Lane
Oh,
is
cool.
her stunt double. So we'll come back to that. We on the opposite end, we have Mila
Mhm.
Kunis as Lily, aka the Black Swan. I
So
love her in
hot.
this. Oh my god, I truly love her. Sometimes she irritates me, but like
Mhm.
she eats in this role. When she's
This
like good,
is
she's good.
peak Mila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's in that 70s show, Forgetting Sarah
Mhm.
Marshall, Bad Moms, and she has been the voice of Meg in Family Guy. So I feel like if you don't know her from one, I feel like everyone kind of knows she's very pop culture
Yeah.
referenced.
You've got at least one Mila Kunis
Yeah.
reference point.
Yeah, you know her
Everybody
from
has one.
somewhere.
Mhm.
So for Mila's role, they obviously needed someone who looked like Natalie Portman, but
Mhm.
obviously it's not all about looks when it came to casting the role. So at the time, Mila and Natalie were, which feels Natalie Portman. It feels weird to call her Natalie. Mila and Natalie Portman were friends for years, and Natalie Portman recalls first bringing it up to her saying, quote, I remember being at the Rose Bowl flea market with her talking about a ballet movie I was making with Darren. And Mila said, I remember when I would take my point shoes dot dot dot. And I was like, you did ballet? Immediately called Darren and said that
Oh
there
my
was this
god.
amazing actress with ballet experience who would be perfect for Lily. And then Mila goes on to joke that she definitely must have exaggerated it to Darren because she said, I danced once and then that got twisted into me having taken point, which Natalie Portman admits in an interview she probably was the one who exaggerated to Darren because they were friends.
That's amazing. Oh my god,
So
that's so
she's a girl's
cute.
girl.
Yes.
So much like yours, there was a bit of a lie, but it wasn't
Oh
from
my
the
god, the
actress, the
parallels.
friend.
That's so fun. A
Yeah,
different actress.
a
Yeah.
different actress. Yeah, so I thought that was really
Oh
funny.
my god.
So at this point, Darren said then he watched her in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which I think is the funniest thing for him to like. I guess
That's
she doesn't have a
incredible.
big Rolodex of films. So he watched Forgetting Sarah Marshall and said she just leapt off the screen to him. And he
Mhm.
said she was so natural and so beautiful in the role. He'd never seen her in that 70s show. So he goes on to
Oh.
say, quote, so she was just in my head. And then Natalie said, hey, for this part of Lily, what about my friend Mila? I was in Europe and we met over iChat and she was natural and cool and seemed very relaxed and excited. And then I just hired her and it was a leap of faith.
Wow. That's
So
so
I can
appropriate for the character.
yeah. He also kind of goes on to add that more than anything, he was really looking for the energies when it came to casting both the roles.
Mm.
Obviously, he really liked Natalie wanted to put her in this. Mila obviously was energy. He liked that they knew each other. And he said, quote, "The script was constantly evolving, and Natalie was a big part of that. She even wrote the last line in the movie, which I felt it perfect. It was perfect." With Mila, I felt like we connected in a way that felt different from the way I connected with Natalie. You never really know going into a film how it's all going to blend, but I do believe the casting gods that things work out for a reason. So I kind of loved his approach that he just felt the vibes were right, and cast the two of them together.
I love a vibes-based casting.
It works.
It does.
It's so perfect.
Most of the time it does.
Yeah. And we will talk about their hooking up scene. So we'll come back full circle that for you.
We can't talk about Black Swan without that.
We have to mention it. We have Vincent Castle as Thomas Leroy. He's a ballet instructor. You may recognize him from the TV series Westworld. He's in the 2023 Three Musketeers, which I think is the French version. There's a couple of them, and then a bunch of French films that I was unfamiliar with, so I didn't know which ones to pick.
I think I know him from a Cronenberg movie, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm pretty sure he worked with David Cronenberg on...
Did I totally pass it up?
The Shrouds? Was he in The Shrouds? Travis, let me know if he was in The
Yeah,
Shrouds.
Trav looked that up. He was in I believe it's a French film called The Apartment, and it looked really familiar. It wasn't listed on the
really
top.
Familiar.
Yeah, look at the you should look at the poster, because I was like, I feel like I know that.
Yeah, probably.
So for his character, he kind of compared him to George Balanchine, who co-founded the New York City Ballet and the School of American Ballet.
And who was an asshole.
Oh, yeah. I was like, he's a notorious control freak. He was known for his, I'm going to start off with the nicer things first. Vincent Castle was in The Shrouds. Nicely done.
Oh, I'm so relieved I didn't make that up.
I don't know how I totally skipped over that on IMDb. I feel bad now.
No, not at all. It's one of those that like doesn't sound like a David Cronenberg movie, like just from the title alone.
Yeah, maybe I just don't know that one. But yeah, so he compares his character to George Balanchine, and he was a notorious freak known for his immense creativity and imagination. And a lot of people say his work managed to make something of great beauty out of a century that was full of suffering and death. But of course, like you said, he was also often noted as using sexuality to direct his dancers in the company. And a Guardian article from 2023 by Lindsay Winship kind of wrote a piece about him, talking about these two sides of him, that he was such a creative genius, but also he big piece of shit. She said, she wrote, quote, "It's possible to see Balanchine as both a god and a boogeyman, responsible for everything that's wonderful or wrong about ballet. Of course, that's far too simplistic." So she kind of delves into it. There's also a podcast series called The Turning: Room of Mirrors, which dives more into ballet's darker side about Balanchine. So if anyone is interested, there's a podcast that you can hear a little bit more about him. But I feel like it was I love that they based this character on a very real person within the community.
Yeah.
So kudos to them for calling that out. We, of course, have Winona Ryder as Elizabeth, or Beth, in this. I always forget she's in this for some reason, because it's such a different role for her. It's small, too.
But, like, it's so odd seeing Winona Ryder as not, like, the cool one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and just so, like... Yeah, there's something about this character that just feels, like, widely not a Winona Ryder character, in the best way possible.
She's so, like, crushed inwards, whereas, like, I feel like Winona Ryder is usually, like, crushed all over, if that makes sense. Like...
a little messy with her crushness.
Yeah.
And the three of them, too, I find it so interesting that a lot of course, we talk about Natalie and Mila looking similar, but, like, she also looks wildly the same.
She really does, which I'm sure is intentional, too.
Has to be. So again, Winona Ryder, God, like, get with it. She is in 3 other episodes we talk about, though, so I will shout those out. We talk about Beetlejuice on this podcast, we talk about Dracula, and we talk about Heather. So this is our 4th movie, and I think she might be one of our most talked about actresses on this pod at this point, other than, like, Mila, or, like, Mia Goth might be
probably Mia Goth is another.
She might be 4. We might be 4 with her. So
yeah.
I wish I had something about her casting, but I don't. And then I kept my cast list short too. We have Barbara Hershey as Erica. She is Lorraine in Insidious franchise films, Hillary in Beaches, and a few episodes of 2018's X-Files and Hitchcock Presents.
Oh,
Moving on, location, like you said, it is all New York. What am I talking about? It began filming at the end of 2009 with a 42-day schedule, which I feel like feels right with all the things that are encompassed.
Film.
Yeah, for a dance film. So they filmed at Lincoln Center of the Performing Arts, Brooklyn Museum, and various Manhattan streets, as we see. And most interior scenes were not filmed in a studio lot, but on location at the Performing Arts Center at Purchase College in Purchase, which included the set was the ballet company rehearsal studios and then the final Swan Lake performances. So I was actually shocked that they used no studios to do this. I think that's why the budget is what it is. Yeah.
I wonder, do you know where they shot the apartments? Because those like the locks in particular were so like a real old New York apartment.
I'm pretty
lock.
sure they probably just knew somebody there.
That makes sense. Because that felt the detail of the like number of layers of paint around that lock was so real.
It might even have been because they shot it at Purchase College. It might have
been
even
Purchase.
I'm assuming. So we're gonna get into it, and they did a lot of these. They broke some rules to do stuff, so I think they were very budget conscious with stuff as they did this. Yeah. So I feel like as I read this will all make sense to you. You're like, So that's why I say it could have been a friend's place that they like decorated, or some apartment that they just like rented for a month. But we have cinematographer Matthew Libatique, who is an American cinematographer. I don't know if his family is from any part of France, but he worked with Aronofsky on Pi, Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain, Mother, and The Whale, so longtime collaborators.
Oh, cute.
He also did cinematography on Josie and the Pussycats, Gothica, Everything is Illuminated, The Number 23, Iron Man 1 and 2, Venom, A Star is Born, Harley Quinn, the Birds of Prey movie, and Don't Worry, Darling.
Wow.
A lot of stuff. And I was like, how did I not recognize his name?
Yeah.
And he also, as is the case, he did a lot of music videos. So he worked with The Cure, Tupac, Incubus, Lou Reed, and Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
So didn't have a genre that he didn't touch.
Yeah, that's a wild list.
He seems really, really cool, just from like the projects that he takes. And you're going to love this. Principal photography was achieved using Super 16mm cameras.
It was?
It was.
I had no idea.
I didn't either.
This looks so good for Super 16.
Crispy.
What the fuck? How does it look so good?
So we'll talk about it a little bit. I do have some nerd camera things for you. Oh my God,
yes. I love this.
But yeah, so DP Matthews said that Darren really liked Super 16 as he had used it previously on, I believe, The Wrestler. And so the decision to produce Black Swan kind of allowed them to cover scenes with handheld cameras and kind of like move in tune with the dancers. He mentions while capturing an organic film look, it allowed them to have some visual nuances and contrasting colors, with the exception of one scene, which I think it's with the dance teacher, where they did coverage with two cameras. Like they shot them at the same time, so they had to use a different camera. Everything was shot using an RE416 camera with a mounted Cooke prime lens. So other than that one scene, Theo they used that one camera. So I think that's really awesome.
I love that.
And then there's some BTS footage that looked like fairly like they shot a lot of this like very guerrilla style production.
Love.
And so it would be like just Darren, Matthew, and then like maybe 2 or 3 crew guys kind of running through New York. Amazing. Which Aronofsky talks about in an interview saying, quote, "That's generally how I've made films. I'm all in." And these two were definitely all in. It was an all-consuming experience because I had nothing else going on in my life. Which he says it like that, but I'm like, it's because you like making films.
It's
Like,
'cause
it's
you
not
were a
like you didn't have
nerd.
anything going
Yeah.
on. Yeah, you had this.
Yeah.
And so Mila Kunis added that he would call her sometimes at 2 a.m. saying, "Hey, can you get on the subway? We're gonna go shoot on 86th Street." And she would be like, "Sure, whatever." 'Cause she's like, "I didn't have kids, I didn't have responsibilities, so like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll go do this." She
Yeah.
also claimed a lot of times they'd show up on a street corner to shoot without permits, which she was like, of course, can't fly today. And so I think again, that's where the budget is a little bit cheaper because
That'll
he
do
wasn't
it.
worried about it because he's just
Mhm.
running around New York with a camera. And who's gonna look at you really? If you're just
I
one
love
person, two
that.
people.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's also where having it be a Super 16 is gonna help because it's a smaller camera, and so it's gonna
Yep.
draw less attention. Like,
Yep. They just look like a couple of nerds running around shooting an art
yeah,
film
like it doesn't look
or a
like it's a
personal.
professional set, which is really
Mhm.
helpful.
Yeah, so you can, like, see that and feel that.
I
He,
love this.
I know, that's why I'm like, "Oh, man, I kinda like him."
Mhm. Yeah, this is
So,
really I love the movie. This is making me like him.
yeah, it does make me
Mhm.
there's, like, one big controversial thing that we'll talk about that I'm like, "Man, I hope that's not the case. Hold
Oh, is
it."
this the Satoshi Kon thing?
No. But we'll
Oh,
talk about that. I'll let
shit.
you bring up
Okay,
your
great.
controversy because
Okay, fantastic.
I had to cap myself. I think I have 3 different
Oh,
controversies that we're
yeah.
gonna talk about.
Oh my
So
god.
we'll have you throw one in in
Fantastic.
the ring. If anyone else has one, just DM us.
I'm sure there's
So
more.
absolutely. So Aronofsky said that he wanted to bring that documentary vibe to the film and couldn't think of another horror film in this vein that was shot with a handheld camera.
Mm.
So when it came to that style, like the more documentary style, the guerrilla style of things, he said, quote, "I thought it might take away from the intensity of a scene because the look of it sort of reminds me of there's someone operating a camera. It was a
Mm.
bit of a risk, but it allowed us to break that fourth wall of how one typically shoots theater and actually
Mhm.
go on stage to dance with Natalie. We had to do a lot of takes with a lot of repetition, and it was pretty physically tough on the two of them." So I love that about this. There's this nice juxtaposition of, such a rigid, intense sport and
Mhm.
athletic skill and art form. And then you have this very kind of chaotic it really kind of sums up what's going on in her head to a
Yeah.
point too,
It's
and her mental state.
totally, and it feels very organic and very like the
Mhm.
camera's kind of moving in a Black Swan style. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's like, this is where we're headed. She's trying to
mhm.
hold it together, but we
Mhm.
know
Yeah.
that she's losing it. So I can't imagine if he were to shoot it a different way. I don't think it would have the same impact.
Agreed.
Because we
Yeah.
have to buy into this as her reality. And I think if it
Mhm.
was shot too perfect, I don't know. It would feel,
I
I don't
think
know.
I feel like to me at least when you shoot something handheld it feels more like it's coming from a character's perspective than when it's on
Hmm.
sticks, and so like
Yes.
it feels
Yes.
more like you're inside her head and less like
Yes.
you're watching as an external party, and this movie needs to be like from the first
Hmm.
perspective, from inside
Yes.
her. Yeah.
I have a quote from him talking about that, so I think that's the perfect point too. It really does put us in a place. So you and him were thinking the same thing, and I'm happy he went with his gut and wasn't too
Mhm.
worried about it to not let it happen.
Yeah.
So
Took the leap.
yeah, and as we talk about like editing, I think in both of these films, I was really just like I feel like I was drooling over the first 6 minutes of Suspiria.
Those like really aggressive cuts are so
It
fascinating.
was amazing, and I wanted to shout the editor, for Black Swan as well because I do feel
Ah,
like there's some great cuts in this and really, like, some beautifully timed edits in this that
for sure.
we wouldn't have otherwise. So we have editor Andrew Weisblum,
Mhm.
um, who did so he worked with Aronofsky on The Wrestler, and he also did Mother and Whale. He also is a big Wes Anderson collaborator and editor.
Interesting.
Yeah, on, like, some of the, like, the earlier stuff, and then, like, French
Mm.
Dispatch, which is, I know, newer, but he did Darjeeling Limited, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Moonrise Kingdom, which is my personal favorite, and Isle of Dogs as well. So I was just
Interesting.
kind of
Huh.
surprised, I don't know, to see that Wes Anderson IMDb
That's
list.
another parallel between ours, since Tilda Swinton's another major Wes
Yeah,
Anderson
yeah.
collaborator.
Yeah, lots of crossover in these, which is so wild. So he talks about when it came to editing, he went in kind of knowing the tone of the film would be the hardest to sort out, but he didn't want to overanalyze it, and that he kind of wanted to have a more instinctive feeling to it when he went into editing. Oh, actually, we're jumping into what you were saying. So to achieve this cohesion, or they kind of created this guideline, they called it, which was to make sure in any scene they shot and edited that it was strictly from Nina's POV and as subjective as possible, because they had to make sure it was all from her eyes, like you just said.
Yes.
And they wanted us, the audience, to buy her experience throughout the entire film. So exactly what you
God, I
said.
love
And that was exactly their intent. And that was their only guideline. They were like, as long as we're doing this, we're going to do right by the story.
Really cool.
Which I love that, sometimes we don't need to overanalyze things. We have to trust ourselves as artists to just, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so that's
Black Swan it. Go with your gut.
Truly. And get some Oscars. So ultimately they talk about, though, yes, this is a horror film, that the film is ultimately at its core a ballet itself. So it's kind of life, art imitating art at that point.
Yeah. That's a really interesting distinction.
Yeah. So I do, again, there's lots I appreciate about this, and then we'll get to the other side. So keep kind of a pin in the fact that they gave a lot of love to the ballet community. Again, put a pin in that sentence that I'm saying if you're yelling at me through your speakers. But the fact that this film is meant to be a ballet in itself. Editor Andrew talks about that, though less obvious in the beginning, with the blend of cinematography and music, and then the visual effects supporting it, kind of like yours, where all these things kind of come together to work. The film, at the end of the film, Nina and then obviously us, the audience, are fully immersed inside the ballet. So we're believing. I feel like that's what happened with the first time watching. I was like, what's going on? Because I watched it when it came out, and I was like, what are we? Is this real? Is she this? Like, what? And it's like, that's the point. We're so immersed and like delusional and spiraling.
You buy into it completely.
So, like, especially the first watch, I was just like, I was in it, and then it, then I understood what the film was about. So, but I was like, I don't know how old I was. I was young and dumb. And then he said they really wanted it to be, there's no distinction between the fantasy and reality at the end, because obviously Nina can't distinguish those things either. And if we're from her POV, we can't. And speaking of music, we have composer Clint Mansell, who scored Black Swan. He also collaborated with Aronofsky. Back Pi is when he started, so that was 1998. Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain, and The Wrestler. So I kind of love he brings a lot of his crew and core crew over with him.
That's cute.
He also did the film High Rise, which is based on a book, and it stars Tom Hiddleston. It is a wild movie. I drank a lot of wine watching it, and it was a trip, and everyone should go watch it, actually. I want to know everyone's thoughts. I have no one to talk to about this movie.
Oh my God. I can't tell if it's a good review or bad.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but it was fun. So he scored that. He also scored Moon, Love Lies Bleeding, and the Peacemaker TV series. So
interesting.
A couple things here and there.
Very cool.
So ballet, obviously, we have to talk about that. So when it came to the process of making a ballet film, Aronofsky talks about how ballet is a very insular world. There's obviously a lot of privacy in the community surrounding it. I think we're fortunate to get glimpses, but I feel like unless you're in it, how do you share that world with other people? And
it's a very closed culture.
Yeah, and there's obviously there's bad dark corners that people don't want to see, and I feel like that happens a lot in many different types of communities, not just ballet, but people always want to dig and then go hard. I think on any sort of art form that is very female driven too, I think it's often criticized a lot
targeted.
More. So
it's a very feminine coded
Yeah. So, of course, naturally, we want to extra hate or find the crevices to hate. So he said it was obviously very hard to get into, and that normally when you say, I want to make a movie about your world, the doors open up and you get tremendous access. And that the ballet world could give two shits about anyone making a film in their world. Those were his words.
That's fascinating.
They did not care. He talks more about this in an interview saying, quote, for people that do ballet is their universe, and they're not impressed by movies. I did find dancers that shared their stories with me, some retired, some working. Eventually, I got to stand backstage when oh my gosh, I did not pre-read this. When the Beloshi came into the Lincoln Center, standing in the wings, watching some of the greatest dancers in the world, I got to see some amazing athletes up close and personal with the experience and what they were going through. So he definitely has a love for ballet. Again, his sister was a ballet dancer, and I think he also saw I think he saw Swan Lake like a bunch of times too.
Aww.
So again, he's had this like in his back pocket since 2000. So he's like, I'm gonna make this movie.
Yeah.
Obviously with a movie like this, authenticity is key, especially for us to buy it. So we're getting closer to the controversy. So Natalie Portman said that she took ballet until she was 13 and said she had always hoped to do a dance film. It's the most emotional form of expression. And so Aronofsky also talks about how proud he was of Natalie, like a proud dad, with her achievement in this, saying, quote, most of these women who are here started dancing when they were 4, 5, or 6 years old. I'm like, girl, I feel like it's like you're born. They're like, here's your pointe shoes. Their bodies are shaped differently because they started so young, like we talked about. She was able to pull it off, except for the wide shots when she has to be seen in pointe for a real long time. It's Natalie on screen. I haven't used her double a lot. So again, Sarah Lane, we will talk about her shortly. Cool. So to prepare for this role physically, Natalie Portman said that she started training a year before the film, much like yours. I was like,
with the same trainer.
Yeah. So she worked, with Mary Helen Bowers, like you talked about. So, and they would do 5 hours of training every single day, which included 3 hours of ballet, swimming a mile, and then toning for 2 hours.
Whoa.
So that was her regimen. Then about 2 months before they started shooting, she started working with choreographer named Benjamin, I think Millipede is how you say his name.
Cool name.
Right? Yeah, I was like, I think it's Millipede. I didn't look up how to say it and did not find interviews or didn't look at interviews with him for this. But yeah, Benjamin. And then she worked with various other ballet coaches who kind of would do more detailed lessons with her. So she would focus on her fingertips, her elbows, turnout. So very like specific that like a dancer will absolutely, that's like being a equestrian. I am the worst person to watch a movie or TV show. If someone's on horseback, you are not going to enjoy that scene with me.
That makes perfect sense.
It is going to be ruined for you because I will be pointing out everything.
Soon this will be you with archery.
Oh my God, I know. I'm learning so much in archery.
Yeah, proud of you.
Although, God, there's so much more to learn. That's an intense.
Ella's advanced in archery now. I need to shout them out.
I just passed my. I'm not going to kill anybody unintentionally with my skill sets. So yay!
Only intentionally. That's how you want it.
Yeah, I will be cut. You're right. I'm probably going to start seeing that too. Damn it! Like I love it and I hate it because you can't unsee it. So
yeah,
I can only imagine. So Natalie said that she does give credit saying they all really shaped her performance and that many of her coaches were there with her throughout all of filming and that every take she would have 5 people giving her notes with Darren also on the side of things they had to change. Intense. I think she loved it. And
that honestly makes sense for her personality.
Yeah. So again, like I'm hoping everyone's keeping track of everything that I'm saying. So if you're wondering how much Natalie Portman is dancing in Black Swan, editor Andrew and Natalie Portman say that again, she doesn't call herself a trained ballet dancer. They claim only 6 shots. They had to do face replacement for her scene.
Wow.
Just take notes.
Okay.
It's a big point we're going to talk about. Mila Kunis, on the other hand, again, pretty much the same. I have a quote from her saying, "There was a lot of dancing and very little eating," which I know you're not supposed to say, but that's the truth. I'm like, she is not PR trained. "I drank a lot of broth and I danced for 12 hours a day. We were only supposed to have 3 months of prep when filming started, but they lost that financing like I talked about." So she said, "We got to extend for 6 months."
Oh, God.
And while Darren was trying to find the money. So she was like, "It sucked for Darren, but Nat and I were so happy because we had 3 extra months to dance."
Is she's not the word?
I listen, she's vibing. She's stoked.
Just sitting over there with her container of broth.
She's like, "I got my broth. 12 more hours? Great."
Could never be me.
No. Oh my God, no. I would die. I would just pass away. So of course we have some, this being a very physical movie, we have a couple of injuries on set, nothing super crazy. Natalie Portman said one of the constant things were strained muscles for her. But the worst thing for her was a dislocated rib that she suffered during a lift. She said, quote, "One rib went under another. It felt like a stitch. It had happened around the halfway point of filming, so for a second half of the film, I couldn't really take a deep breath, but they just changed from the lifts from then on, and it did hurt under my armpits instead of around my rib cage, so they just kind of switched for the lift." I have never
dislocated a rib.
Yeah, no. When people are like, "I sneezed and my rib popped out," I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Bodies are terrifying.
I don't like it. Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's funny because I'm not grossed out by certain things, but then like
that one gets
the
me.
Suspiria, like even that injury, I'm like, that sounds horrific. Like, I don't want to know.
Dislocation.
Don't tell me.
I feel like I think it falls under the category of injuries that feel close enough to things you've experienced that you can picture it viscerally.
Right.
And it's like, oh no, like I haven't dislocated a rib, but I've like, had situations where like it feels like a joint is almost on the point of it, and like even just from that you can kind of imagine the horrors that might be on the other side of that. And like that description of it being like a stitch is just
I know. I'm like, oh man, like I've definitely had my share of drinking like a lot of water and like doing anything active after, and I'm like, why do I have this? I'm trying to hydrate. So
Bonnie,
that was
why do you betray me?
all the time, Siena. So that was her worst injury on set, which I think is like really easy. She also says, quote, "It often happens when they get promoted because they work really, really hard to get promoted. And then when they do and have bad injuries," talking about ballet dancers, "that they've been dancing so hard, but then they don't want to give up their spot. They don't want to be replaced. So they'll dance on a sprained ankle, torn muscles." Obviously, if you've seen like, I love ballet shoe TikToks, and it's like your feet go through so much. Toenails are lost.
Horrible.
So yeah, she was like, "But they'll dance beautifully on stage and then limp off to a bucket of ice. It's pretty shocking." So she is like, "Listen, they go through so much worse than me. Don't worry about it." Meanwhile, Mila Kunis, of course, she's like, "We would shoot those dancing scenes for hours, and I had bruises all over my ribs just from being lifted up over and over again. I also dislocated my shoulder pretty early on, again, the dislocations, and thought I was completely screwed. But Darren sent me to an acupuncturist, and I somehow came out totally fine."
What?
Hollywood, man. They're just like, "Here, go here. This makes sense."
Oh my God. That's not how bodies work, I thought. But okay.
Yeah. So again, they kind of walked away, I think, relatively unscathed, which goes to show they've kind of trained. Okay. So the controversies. Here we come. Sorry, I've been just like a slow
only know
tease.
About one of them. I'm so
and
I'm
I don't
so
think
anxious.
It's the same one. So
no, it sounds like it's not.
We're going to bring up our dear Sarah Lane. So she is a ballet dancer at the American Ballet Theater. She played Natalie Portman's stunt double in this. And the controversy around her, there's so many things about it. So I'm just like, I kind of like hodgepodged some things together, and I'm trying to decide if I want to like perfectly read I'm going to read my notes. I'm not going to paraphrase, guys. We know how that goes. So
give us the full story.
Yeah. So there is a blog entry. I want to say it was like 2010. So it's like like right as this is all coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from Dance Magazine, and it's where editor-in-chief of that magazine, Wendy Perrin, wrote, "Do people really believe that it takes only 1 year to make a ballerina? We know that Natalie Portman studied ballet as a kid and had a year of intensive training for the film, but that doesn't add up to being a ballerina. However, it seems many people believe that Natalie Portman did her own dancing in Black Swan." So like this article comes out, and it kind of led to responses from both Benjamin Millipede, so the ballet coach, and
Mm-hmm.
Darren Aronofsky. They both kind of came to defense of Natalie Portman and said, no, like she really did a lot of dancing. Like I said, we remember the editor. He was like, oh, we only had to replace her in 6 shots
Mm-hmm.
because they were like more of the wides. But it also received a response from Sarah Lane claiming that she had not been given due credit for her work in the film.
Oh
And
no.
at this time, so this article comes out, there's also this video of a special, like about the special effects from Black
Mm-hmm.
Swan. It was kind of like circulating, again, 2010. It was
Mm-hmm.
showcasing like a specific crucial scene, like 3 seconds in the film that
Mm-hmm.
showed their face replacement. So a lot of people are watching it, slowing it down, and you can see it go from like Natalie Portman's face to Sarah's face, or I think it might have just been Sarah's face. And
Mm-hmm.
so why was this so controversial? So apparently the day before the Oscars, this journalist who wrote this from Dance Magazine went to go look at the video again, and all these sites have taken down that clip of the
Oh
footage.
no.
And so she like tweeted out something about it, and someone tweeted back that it had only been there for like 1 day before it was pulled off the internet. On top of that, which I looked up, Natalie Portman, spoiler alert, we'll talk about the awards, is giving her Oscar speech for best performance.
Mm-hmm.
And in the speech, she thanks it. She gives credit to like, oh, there's so many people that go into making a film. There's like hair and makeup, so she thanks like
Mm-hmm.
all the crew, right? Which
Good.
that's a reason. Yeah, it's not like she's just like thanking her publicist and like thanks to my
Right.
cast and Darren. She's
Right.
going around and thanking like all these people that work
This is where you
on
should
films.
thank the person doing your dancing for you.
So she
Yeah.
thinks Mary Helen Bowers, but Sarah Lane's name is not mentioned in her Oscar speech. So some people
Mm.
are like, well, maybe she was just forgetful, heat of the
Mm-hmm.
moment, or was it calculated omission planned by the studio's
Mm-hmm.
publicity team?
Mm-hmm.
And so Sarah Lane actually goes on ABC News,
Oh my
does
God.
an interview, and she talks about how the movie campaign really pushed, because again, um spoiler alert again, it was kind of like a sleeper hit. So as it's
Mm-hmm.
getting this Oscar buzz and it's up for all these things, Sarah Lane's talking about how that her team was really pushing Natalie Portman doing most of her own dancing, which is true. She does a lot of dancing
Mm-hmm.
in the film. There's footage, there's a bunch of people coming to her defense, but in doing so, they seem to have stifled Sarah Lane's performance as well. Again, I feel like the Oscars, especially at that time, I think like since then, there's been a lot of shift of like giving credit where credit is
Mm-hmm.
due now. But at this time, I think this was a really big shift in that narrative in Hollywood. Um,
Interesting. This was like
so
a watershed moment.
yes, so there's an ABC News interview you can watch with her. There is also a story that she gives for Glamour magazine entitled The Real Black Swan, which after that came out, one of the film's producer called her and asked her to stop giving any more interviews before the Oscars. So
Okay.
that's what made me go, well, that's shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe okay, sure, she forgot, but the fact that all of this stuff was coming up, because
And
they
that they were
wanted.
specifically tying it to the Oscar
Right,
campaign.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And she states too, they wanted her to stop giving these interviews because they wanted to make it seem like Natalie Portman did something impossible. And of course, Sarah Lane herself wasn't surprised that at the time she wasn't mentioned in the Oscars speech. So I am with Sarah Lane. I do think even if like Natalie and like other people didn't know it, like I'm sure behind the scenes that team was trying so hard. Like it's up for an Oscar. she's up for an Oscar. There's this, whole thing about doing ballet, and like a lot of people don't know about ballet, so they're not going to know. It's such a small world, really, that you're not going to know the difference, right?
How
it's
impossible it is. Yeah.
Right. So they were like, no, we can spin this. And honestly, this was really, really, really public and a really, really big thing that came out at the time. And I don't think movies tried to sweep things under the rug since.
Fascinating.
Yeah, so it was really...
That would not fly now in the same way.
No, not at all. I forget which movie I was just talking about where they gave... Trav, can you drop in... I was just talking about some film, but yeah, there's a huge online discourse over the percentage of dancing Natalie Portman did in Black Swan. And some people are like, oh, she only did 70%. Darren and Benjamin are like, oh, she did 95%. And it's just like, it's so... I don't remember that.
God. Well, it's
also but it's because they did their job. They made us like not pay attention to that. We're like, oh my God, Natalie did all the dancing in this movie and then she won. How cool.
That's so... It's honestly, it's reminding me of... oh my goodness, Silence of the Lambs sweeping the Oscars and everybody being like, it's because it's so good. And it's like, it's because it invented the screener. Like, yes, it is that good. And also publicity campaigns are publicity campaigns. And like, I think it also frustrates me because it's like, whether she did 70 or 95%, either way, can't we all just agree that she did an incredible job and she had help?
Right.
Like,
and that's... uplift the community that you're like... Darren clearly like loved it so much, and to not give that credit, like there's always a yes and. Like, and I also... yes, she did this, and she also had an amazing stunt double.
Yes, and that doesn't like... I feel like it honestly... trying to sweep something under the rug like that ends up doing a disservice to her performance, because then it becomes about like, what percentage of the dance did she do instead of... and like, we have to make it this narrative that she did something impossible. And like, isn't it good enough that she is an actor who did an incredible job at acting? Like, this is an acting award. It's not an award for person who learned the most dance in a year. Right. Why do we need to make it that? That just makes it sound like it's not enough for her to be good at acting.
Yep. Nope.
Like, oh, that... I hate that. Okay, great.
I realized I put the hooking up in the middle of this, so I'm gonna actually copy and paste that move. I want to talk about the...
so funny.
The other... I'm gonna move that right down for us because I want to get to the other controversy. Corner, yes. So costume, we have costume designer Amy Westcott. She not only received several award nominations for her work in this film, but she also worked on Squid and the Whale, The Wrestler, the TV series Entourage, Nightcrawler, The Visit, 8 episodes of The OA, The Menu, and 8 episodes of Fallout. So lots of really big projects and some like fun indie ones. Like
it's a good mix.
Yeah.
Squid and the Whale.
So we have another publicized controversy.
Oh my God, Black Swan.
I know. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize.
She's a messy bitch.
Yeah. So it was regarding the question of who had actually designed the 40 ballet costumes for Natalie Portman's character and the other dancers in the film. So an article from The Independent suggested that those costumes had actually been created by fashion brand Rodart. The people, I think the creative directors at the time were Kate and Laura Malaby.
Yeah.
And so Amy Westcott kind of challenged this notion, saying that there's only actually 7 costumes that were actually created as a collaboration with Rodart herself and Darren Aronofsky for the film. And they're also the core ballet dancers' costumes were actually designed by Zach Brown, who worked for the American Ballet Theater, and just slightly adapted by Amy for the costume design department, which Amy is like, she made a statement saying, quote, controversy is too complimentary of a word for two people using their considerable self-publicizing resources to loudly complain about their credit once they realized how good the film is. I love her. She goes on to say, she was happy for Rodart's persistent publicity efforts. At first, I'm so proud of the film, and anything that brings it even to a wider audience is genuinely welcome. I tried to put aside my ego while being airbrushed from history in all of the interviews, as I am not that kind of person in any way. But when articles were planted that attacked me personally as if I had conspired against them, I felt nothing but despair and betrayal.
Oh
I
my
don't,
God.
I know. She's like, I don't have a publicist working for me. Needless to say, and I was asked to stay quiet and to not engage to avoid any bad press towards the film. Unfortunately, this seems to have been proven detrimental to the perception of my work on Black Swan. I didn't make the rules that the Guild of the Academy set, and I am proud of my profession and commitment to my work. So to have my name dragged in such a ill-informed gossip is galling and hurtful to say
Oh
the
my
least. I mean,
God.
she was like, I'm not fucking, don't you dare say this
Yeah.
about me. So
Holy
she
shit.
also, and this will be a learning lesson, she also educates people in this interview. I forget who it was with, but she educates people kind of giving how her job is to oversee every stitch and kind of, she explains what a costume designer is. So I'm going to give her words and then you can talk about it as people who know what costume designers do. So she says, quote, whether an item is designed by me, purchase, farmed out of farm out to specialized item designer, or a combination of all these, I think it is greatly misunderstood. The job is a 24/7, a 5 or 6 month commitment. You are there on set, making choices, setting the tone, and making changes every day. And that's what I feel like. I'm glad she spoke up, because I feel like people think costume designer and they are like, you have to sew everything and everything is yours and it is crafted. I'm like, no, that
it's
job
the
is
overseer. It's the director of
yes,
costumes, basically.
yes.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm not hiding this collaboration. I
Right.
alter these things. Like, in what world are people think I'm just stealing? I'm like, you can't steal
That's
stuff.
that's literally not how it works if that's the costume
No.
designer and she brought Rodart on for a collaboration.
Yes. Isn't that
She's
wild?
still the costume designer. Oh my
Right?
God.
I'm like, that
People
still
are just
doesn't change what she
crazy.
did. So I
Right.
love that she's like, I don't have a publicist. I don't give a fuck. They told me to stay quiet. I'm not doing that. Like, I have a
Good.
reputation
You go,
in
girl.
Hollywood. Yeah. So
Good for her.
Amy kind of ate it up and spit it back out, and I thought it was amazing. So there was controversy around that, but I'm team Amy on that side of things. So I think that might be all my main controversy. So hooking up. We will swap that.
I'll shout out real quick before we run out of
what's your
controversy? A lot of people, there's a Satoshi Kon movie called Perfect Blue. It's an anime. And a lot of people have done a lot of very apt comparisons between not just the plot of this movie, but direct, like, shot for shot. Like, you can hold one up and it's right there. And so a lot of people have considered it like an unauthorized live action remake, essentially. And I know, at least my understanding is that Aronofsky has denied that that was an influence. But it's very hard, like, looking at some of the images and not seeing the connection.
I feel like I saw that come up I wonder when that was made, because the understudy is what I mean, I know that script, there's not shots in that, but I'm very curious, like, where the understudy comes in, where Perfect Blue is, and then where Black Swan is in, like, what is that timeline? You know what I mean?
Perfect Blue came out in 1997, I'm seeing.
I feel like, I mean, who knows though? The understudy, he could have watched Perfect Blue, and then
that's
because
the
at least in
thing.
2000, I think it was, I couldn't find any information on the understudy. I think it was just, I mean, sorry guys if I'm wrong. I think it was just a guy. Like, just a dude who wrote a thing that Aronofsky, because I couldn't find any other, like, big information on him. So very interesting. I did see Perfect Blue come across in my research somewhere, but I passed over it.
I'm gonna drop a link for you later.
Oh my
That's like a
gosh.
side by side.
Oh man. Yeah. We'll also look this up collectively after. Or some of you may know already. Yeah.
I feel like
funny.
it's a popular one on Instagram, a popular comparison.
So many controversies.
Yeah, this is a really, and that's the only one that I knew about too. That's wild.
I mean, I love that.
Oh
you
my
brought
gosh,
in
the controversy.
a new one that I didn't have. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a good segue getting back to hooking up.
Wait, yeah, we've got to get back to the important stuff. Yeah.
So maybe to burst all of our little queer bubbles, it was not like the thought behind it being a gay themed film or kind of being a queer forward film wasn't really the or like having, it wasn't the main device in this, although we've all claimed it, as many of our awakenings. So many consider Black Swan, obviously, like us, kind of like a significant queer text and queer cinema. Obviously, we have the scene with Nina and Lily, and obviously there's lots of queer undertones and themes of sexual awakening throughout
all over the place.
This, everywhere, just all over it. But I brought in kind of like a little cute, funny point of view from Natalie and Mila about shooting that. So we're not getting too deep on this one. I'm also an hour into my blabbing about this film. So they talk about having to do that scene because they remember they've been friends for a while, right? So Natalie Portman,
which I feel like makes it worse. Like, it's easier to do something like that if you don't know the person really well.
Yeah, and again, we'll love our quote from Natalie versus Mila Kunis. They're just amazing. Opposite end of the spectrum. So Natalie Portman says, quote, "The only scene that was quite hard to shoot was when Mila and I hooked up. I learned that it's fun to work with your friend until you have to film a sex scene with them. I remember Darren being like, you guys only have to do it once and you won't have to do it again. So we were both standing in the room, heavy nervous breathing until Darren yelled action, and then we just went for it. And he kept his word. We went for it, and we didn't have to do it more than once. But that's definitely one thing that I remember getting into set and thinking, I don't feel good about this."
Oh, no.
So that was her. And then Mila Kunis, on the other hand, says, quote, "To tell you the truth, I completely forgot about that scene." She laughs. I was just quickly thinking through the movie, like, was that hard? I totally blocked that out.
Oh my God, I love her.
She's just like, I was going to say you would like her quotes because she's just like,
what?
What happened? So bless her.
Me oral? That's
yeah. I don't know what we did. We did something. Was it hot? Cool.
Fabulous. I wasn't there. Mila out
there, mentally. So we are rounding the corner. We are at the premiere. Black Swan had its world premiere at the opening film at the 67th Venice Film Festival on September 1st, 2010. So it was the first film out the gates.
These were
there.
both Venice Film Festival films too.
Oh,
that's wild.
Really funny. I wonder if that one was Suspiria first. I wonder too.
I think that was its premiere. Yeah, was at Venice.
That's so
I don't think it was the first of the festival, but
okay. Yeah, it'd be two in common. So it received as every fucking Venice film receives a standing ovation. At the time, Variety magazine called it one of the strongest Venice openers in recent history. So good on them.
It goes on to do really well.
It does. It had a limited release in cities in North America on December 3rd. And then in the UK, it was postponed from February to February from January originally. February. Yeah. I was like, wait, which one comes first? So it was supposed to be January. It was February. And it was considered at the time one of the most highly anticipated films of 2010. And like I said, it's considered a sleeper hit, which is like wild to think about, honestly, during its open weeks because of the budget. So it was the second biggest global sleeper hit of 2010 behind The King's Speech.
Damn.
And The King's Speech earned $424 million worldwide. Do you want to take a stab at what Black Swan got against its $13 million budget?
Was this over 200 mil?
Oh, yes, it was.
Oh my God. Was it over?
I know. It was.
Oh my God.
Not
what?
Much, but it was, well, actually a lot. $330 million.
Jesus Christ.
Isn't that wild?
Poor Suspiria with 8. What the fuck?
Honestly, it's so rude.
It's so rude.
If Black Swan could just scooch some of its money over.
Share the love. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm like genuinely like kind of mad at that.
I'm kind of am too, because I feel like Suspiria absolutely should have. It's just people are annoying.
I want them both to have earned like 150. That feels
right?
more reasonable.
Yeah, let's split it down the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Black Swan appeared on obviously many critics' top 10 lists of 2010 and was featured on America's Film Institute's 10 Movies of the Year. It obviously received lots of praise upon its release, specifically from Aronofsky's direction and the performances of Mila and Natalie Portman. And over award season, it was nominated a total of 188 times for like various awards.
Oh my God.
161 of those.
Damn.
And I thought this was kind of interesting too. Like amongst the awards, it received a record 12 Critics' Choice Awards nominations against True Grit and King's Speech were right behind it with 11 noms. Wow. Inception, which came out the same year, was 10 nominations. And then The Social Network, which I think it's so funny that you brought that up, had 9.
Wild. Which also, fun fact, Inception, a lot of people also think is a ripoff of the Satoshi Code movie. It's very similar to Paprika. So there were 2 films this year.
Yeah. I've heard. I remember that. So for Golden Globes, obviously Natalie Portman was nominated and won the Best Actress award. It was also up for Best Director, Best Motion Picture, and Best Supporting Actress, with Mila Kunis nominated. Did not win those. Obviously for Oscars, it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, which Natalie Portman won, cinematography, and film editing, which I loved to see. And again, a ton of other awards. It has an 8 out of 10 on IMDb. And then I think in my closest Rotten Tomatoes, 85 from critics, 84 from audiences. So I'm glad we agree for once.
Look at that.
I would still put it a little bit higher, but I feel like 85 feels fair.
Yeah, I'm almost surprised that it's not in the 90s for critics.
At least, right?
Like, it deserves where it's at, certainly. Yeah.
And then we have 4.2 out of 5 on Letterboxd. There were so many funny reviews. One was just ... One said, yeah. High ratings, by the way. And then I have 2 that I brought in. So if 4.5 stars, someone wrote, "How the fuck is a movie about ballet this creepy?"
True.
And then 5 stars, "The feminine urge to go completely insane."
Yes. Really applies to both of our films right there.
Yeah. So that is Black Swan.
Oh my gosh.
There was so much. There's so many things to read about both of these. So I feel like I'm glad we covered the meat, and then you can spend hours and hours and hours of your time researching both of these.
If you want to dive in deeper, there's farther to dive for both of these, I'm sure. God.
Yeah. These were so fun to talk about together.
They really were. And to just what a triggering delight to revisit.
I was like, really... how we were both like, well, and this is fucked up. So
no, it's like, and when I say like, this makes me wonder if this is part of why I stayed in the closet so long. It's specifically like that brand of like early 2000s into 2010s like casual homophobia that was so common back then that just like I felt it to my core.
Yep.
The battle days.
If only I listened to myself back then.
Wasn't happening.
Really open. I kicked down that door once I went away from home.
As soon as I went to college, things were a different story.
The door is made of glass.
Exactly.
Oh, wait, there's not a door? Great. Where'd that door go? Went to the coven downstairs.
Oh my God.
These were super fun, and I can't wait to rewatch Suspiria and Tilda Swinton. Siena, I talked about The Voice. I openly was asking questions about The Voice, and I think, oh God, my brain broke with that piece of information today.
The Voice and The Walk too. Like she has that doddering old man walk down to a T. It's incredible.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the penis helped with that, but
the weight of the big dick energy.
Yeah. Lutz Abersdorf, big dick energy. Now that's a t-shirt.
Oh my God.
So good.
Oh my god, I'm gonna get a Lutz tattoo. Just a little
Oh my
heart.
god, yes.
So when I meet her, I can be like, hey,
Hey,
just get it
so
right on
if
my
you
ass.
don't love me and I've got this tattooed on my body, then it's gonna break my heart forever and it's gonna be your fault. So like you have to be my friend now, Tilda.
Yeah. She said guilt tripping seems to work.
Yes,
for her,
it
so,
works on her, apparently.
The things we all learn on this podcast are so delightful.
So good.
Oh my god.
And we get the joy of staying not like entirely, but a little bit in a dance related area for one of the next two that we're covering. Because we're picking up some J horror, which we haven't done in a really long time. I feel like, is it possible that the last pairing we did with a Japanese movie was Ringu?
It is. Which was that 2 years
ago? That was like one of our first 10, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my
That's
god.
crazy.
I feel like I just sometimes wish we could just do a movie a day.
I know.
If only we had all the time in the world.
Yeah, because if we had nothing to do but this podcast. There's so many.
There's so many.
I love that at the beginning, a lot of people were asking us if we were worried we were going to run out having like such a specific niche. And I'm like, have you seen horror movies? Like,
yeah, it's like we're fighting for our lives to cover all the things. We're like, well, I guess next year we'll have to do that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're doing some J horror. I'm covering 1999's Audition, which I've been talking about wanting to cover on this podcast since the beginning, and features a character who's a ballet dancer. So that's our little tie-in there.
I'm so excited to finally watch it.
I think it's going to be really. I hope it's going to be really up your alley. And again, it is a slow burn until it's not.
Sick. I love a
very
slow burn.
Suspiria. Yeah.
Those tend to be my favorite, to be fair. And then I am doing The Grudge from 2004, right?
Which I have never seen, and I'm very excited for.
Yeah.
And I know nothing about The Grudge. Like, I know that it is one of the key J horror titles. I've managed to keep myself from learning anything about, like, I don't know what kind of horror it is. I don't know if it's supernatural. I know nothing. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, it's been a hot ass minute since I watched it, so I don't know how I feel about it yet.
I can't remember.
I feel like my first watch, I don't know if I can't tell if I liked it or not. I can't remember that far back, so this will be fun.
Amazing.
I don't know what to expect. So yeah, I'm excited to cover these two. I think it'll be a good little.
Feels right.
Yeah, it feels right. And then we'll hopefully maybe do Midsummer.
Yeah, Midsommar and Wicker Man after that, I think feels like the move for our first episode of May.
We have there's Mother's Day horror.
Oh, fuck.
What do we do?
Oh, and there's so much Mother's Day stuff. There's so many good mom horror movies.
Yeah. Maybe
write in. Tell us what you think.
Oh god, that's a while away too. I was like, we got to do like mommy horror.
Yeah,
maybe?
We do.
There's so
really
much good like Mother's Day stuff. So, anyways, that'll. If you guys have any suggestions on that probably will be
write in and help us decide what we're doing for the one after.
I don't know. What else do we have? I don't know. I pimped out at the beginning. You guys know
you
the
did.
Spiel. Please vote for us if you want to be awesome and cool and do the really annoying thing of clicking through to vote for someone.
You're really selling the public on this.
Maybe if you guys vote and we win, we'll do a giveaway. Hey.
Ooh, very true. I think this should happen.
I have 2 local horror stores that are open all year round that I've visited.
I'm so jealous.
One of them it's like a couple that make their own like masks, and they're insanely cool. So I'm just saying, there's things that we could give away if we win, you guys. So look at that. That's your incentive. I will give away stuff.
Yes. We will bribe you for love.
It worked for Tilda. It'll work for you
this
guys.
This is our guilt trip.
And then
we don't, you'll make us so sad.
Yeah, then we'll just cry for 3 hours on the next episode.
You won't get any content. It'll just be us weeping. Yeah.
I'm a loud crier, so
me too. I'm sure this is no surprise.
So
to
was
anybody.
Theo.
Yeah.
She was like, "Hey,
so
me
is
too."
Theo. She is a loud crier.
She's a baby.
I
I don't know. That feels it.
Yeah.
I don't. You guys are awesome.
Keep sending us recommendations. We love those. Keep sending us reviews. We love those.
Yeah.
I saw we got the first ever comment saying that somebody wished our episodes were shorter, and I was like, honey, you're in the minority.
Yeah. I want to be like, well, I don't know what to do about that. We like to gab.
Yeah, we can't stop now. Like
we can't shut up, unfortunately.
For that train, that ship has sailed.
Yeah, but yeah, all the comments are, you guys are just so fucking awesome.
We love
and
you.
Sweet and cool.
And,
so thank you for support.
For being part of the community. Thank you for those of you who are sending us little monthly $3 or up support. It helps us keep the pod afloat. Keep our little pod boat afloat. And exactly. Thank you to Travis, our trusty momager, for coming in hot with all the facts. What am I talking like today? I don't know.
We're rounding the corner.
I need to get off the air.
I'm just
my
pointing
mind.
as you talk. Keep it going, Siena. You got this.
Thank you, Al, for continuing to point in random directions. Well, I have nothing to say. Thank you, Theo, for giving me a weird stare from behind the camera. Thank you to... Oh my God, who am I forgetting? Thank you to Theo Schaefer. 2 Theos in a row. Look at that. Oh my God, Al's got like a whole dance going on now at this point. Al's vibing. No thoughts, just vibes. No outros, just vibes. Thank you to Theo Schaefer for the beautiful music playing us out as I lose my mind. Thank you to all of you for listening. We love you. Good night and good luck.
Thanks for listening to Splice Splatter.
Little podcast presented by us. We're classic horror.
He's better gore. And until then,
we'll be right back.